I'm going on. Tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. I'm going on.
Hello and welcome to your Taylor Industries pre-show. I am Trey, here joined by my esteemed colleague.
Joshua, Trey, I'm glad you're back. We had to pull you out of retirement. It's been a long time.
It has been a very long time. I don't even go to UCM anymore. I graduated, but I love the game of League of Legends so much that I decided to come cast with you.
This is my last semester. You think that's going to happen to me too? I'm trying to go to Chicago.
Do you-
It's going to be a long drive.
I don't know. They might have to find some new casters after that. But with that being said, it has been a very long time since we were able to cast UCM Esports League of Legends, Josh. It has been quite a while.
It's been quite a while indeed. I believe the last time we actually live streamed a match was sometime early March, right before, as everybody knows, the pandemic hit, which is insane. And that was a time before the pandemic. That's how long it's been.
feels like the Twilight Zone here. But back when we were able to cast those games, we didn't win as much as we would have liked to. We did have some bummers there in against a couple other universities, but today we're hoping to do a bit better.
It's been over a year. Hopefully we got some more teamwork. I believe there's been a little change in the roster, just a slight bit, and hopefully maybe during this time they were able to get a lot more practice in than last semester. I know that there was some technical difficulties and everything like that, so we can only hope for the best.
We can hope for the best. And with that being said, we are going to go ahead and throw up our Covers lineup. We have 8-Bit Hypocrite, Mason Schliebel here in the top lane. We have IP Slow, Dominic Cortez in the jungle. We have Fly Gills, Jacob Giles there in the mid lane. VTech, he is the new addition there. We did have a different ADC way back when we played about a year ago, but we have VTech there. I don't want to butcher his name, so if I do, I apologize, but Yao Wan Yoon there for ADC. And then we have Vin Carl. He was here also last semester, last year or so. Owen Bruns there. So we have 4 of the 5 players coming back, and then we have VTech there. And I do hear that he is a very good player. I hear he's around diamond rank, so hopefully he's able to carry the team.
I've heard that as well. I do know our previous ADC was Jackson. Definitely he was more of the Jin Caitlyn player. I think his name was Jin Caitlyn in the game in particularly. He was a freshman coming into the school. Whenever he joined, maybe some classes, interfered and everything like that. So he had to step away. But, new ADC, and he's got a pretty high rank.
A plug-and-play player there, hopefully. Hopefully he does well. And we also want to highlight our giveaway here with UCM Esports. We have these Cloud Alphas here. They're a very, very nice headset. They show you all the sound, not show you necessarily, but you can hear all the sounds. If you play Call of Duty, Fortnite, Rocket League, League of Legends, anything, if you want to talk to your friends on Discord, you can win this gaming headset. Josh, where can they find the giveaway?
Well, if you go to Instagram, UCM Esports, very simple name. You're already on the Esports channel. It's just on Instagram. That's where this giveaway shall be. And I know you said you can't really hear the sounds, but I mean, have you never had a HyperX Cloud Alpha on your head and been like, everybody shut up? I got to hear where the footsteps are coming from, and you kind of get into your sixth sense on where they could be. The headphones are really good.
And as you can see there, the rules are at the bottom right. You like the post. You need to like the post for you to be entered. But you also must be following the UCM Esports gaming account there on Instagram. That is UCM Esports, all one word. You also need to tag a friend in the comments, and you need to share the post on your stories. Once you do that, and we are able to verify that you did all of those things, if you are the winner, we will be in contact with you. So go ahead and sign up for that if you want to enjoy that headset there. And
it was a lot of rules, but I will say, that headset goes for like $70 to $90. Pretty expensive headset
for 5 rules that you have to do. But
very simple.
That being said, we are going to be taking this to a commercial break. We will see you when we get back.
Culver's is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports. Welcome to Delicious. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mason, and I'll be going over the basics of the game before we begin. League of Legends is a MOBA, a multiplayer online battle arena. The game consists of 2 teams of 5 players, who will choose their champions to play as, each with their own special set of abilities. Each player has a specific role to fill in a certain area of the map, called lanes. Top lane usually consists of tanks and bruisers, characters that can take a lot of hits. Mid lane is usually for mages and assassins, who deal a lot of damage in a small amount of time. Bot lane has 2 players in it for each team, the AD carry and support. The ADC is someone that does a lot of damage from a long distance, and the support stays with them in order to keep them protected. Finally, the jungler has no set lane. They roam around in between the lanes in an area known as the jungle, killing monsters and jumping in to attack whatever lane needs help, an action known as ganking. The objective of the game is to push each lane forward, killing minions and destroying turrets that protect the enemy. Killing other players rewards gold, which can buy items and make your characters more powerful. The game ends when one team pushes all the way into the opponent's base, destroying this structure, called the Nexus, and winning the game.
I'm going in. When the lights go down, I've seen hell in you, but you don't care, no, you don't care, no. You just rather watch me fall from a quarter mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall.
Hello, and we are here in the pick and ban phase for the match between Central Missouri and Pittsburg State University. First off, for Pittsburg State here, we have the Urgot ban. That's very interesting. I didn't know anybody on our team actually played Urgot.
I don't know if they do as well, and I don't see too many Urgots in this current meta. I know he used to be really popular with the Conqueror. He kind of still is a raid boss. You can't deny that fact, but I just don't really see him in the pro plays anymore.
I know that he did get a recent buff, so if they are playing on the most recent patch, which I believe they are,
They should be.
Urgot actually did get a buff to his on hits with like Kraken Slayer and Gunsu's Rage Blade if you wanted to build that and things like that. So I can see that there. Urgot is pretty good. Then we have the Mundo ban coming out from Central Missouri here, Josh.
Mundo is, it depends on if you're playing him top lane or jungle. Either way, that's still a lot of healing that he can bring to a team. A lot of tank, life sustain, and you're basically forced to buy executioners no matter what at that point. So, it's always a good ban.
Generally, he goes jungle, so he is a very, very strong jungle pick. And late in the game, he is extremely hard to deal with if you don't have something like a Vayne or Tristana or Jinx, some hyper carry. So I do see that ban being very good there. And out comes the Galio ban from PSU, and then comes the Vladimir ban from the University of Central Missouri.
Two very strong ban picks. Galio, whenever he gets his ultimate ready, that's basically an extra person to any team fight every 2.5 minutes of the game, and it's not something you want to deal with. It helps the jungler, it helps the bot lane, helps anybody on the team. Very strong. Vladimir, once again, another life-sustaining person. He can just stay in lane forever, and he can become a hyper carry late game if he gets strong.
Yes, late game Vladimir is a menace to deal with also. So you do see UCM banning 2 late game picks there. And that Galio pick, like you did say, does have a pseudo global ultimate there. So he can arrive very, very quickly to the team fights, doing damage and providing a magic damage shield. But we do see both of the ADCs coming out here for both teams. We have Delusion, which that could be mid if they wanted to flex it. And we have the Jin coming out from the University of Central Missouri.
Now, I said this last year during, before this meta started, Jin Dark Harvest was the best way to go, and everybody made fun of me. They're like, "No, Josh, go Fleet Footwork, Jin. It's what's the current." I'm like, "No, Dark Harvest." And guess what? Once this new meta came out, guess what? Everybody's playing Jin Dark Harvest. I called it a long time ago. But with that Jin, it's Swain, and I'm pretty sure that's a Swain support because Jin Swain support is a really epic combo. You're going to most likely see that Swain going electrocute. If he gets a pull on somebody, that's an electrocute proc that's going to most likely be happening. Jin can get the stun off, and that's some huge damage going in for a bot lane combo.
Interesting, because Swain, when he originally came out, was a mid and a top, and it's just interesting to see how the game evolves to where now Swain is considered a support player or a support champ first and foremost. So it's very interesting there. And out comes the Hecarim, and I will say that I absolutely believe this champ is absolutely broken right now and
he's been
a
broken
massive
forever.
nerf.
It doesn't matter.
That ultimate combined with his charge literally pushes players back, I feel like, across the map, and the fear that comes out of it also seems like it could be a little bit wonky right now or broken.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, last season of League of Legends, it was like, I didn't like, I was an ADC, it's really tough. But this season, I feel like whenever I get feared by the ultimate, sometimes like my character will like go a certain way and then like turn around and it's like, well, what's going on?
Yeah,
the fear's not working right.
I do believe Hecarim needs to be looked at there. But to pair along with that Lucian, if Lucian is going into the bottom lane there, they do pick up the Lulu. And Central Missouri picks up the Thresh. So that is a Swain top or a Swain mid. We do not know yet. So that was a flex pick for UCM.
Man, I was not expecting that. I mean, Thresh is still a very good pick. What you have to be careful, though, with the Jhin is that if Thresh gets the hook on, he can pull them, and then he can also do his Thresh attack, which kind of pushes them back. And if they don't communicate that well, Jhin can mistime his W and not get that like extra combo damage that should be happening. It's happened to me a lot of times. Even when you think you're good at it, it still happens. Lulu, on the other hand, a very strong shielding support character right now. It's just insane how long characters can live with a Lulu support.
Her shields, her ultimate there does make them extremely hard to kill. But out comes the Cho'Gath ban from PSU. And I do see the Darius ban there from Central Missouri along with the Fizz. But one thing I want to point out is that Stridebreaker recently got a buff/nerf. So the damage and the slow, I don't know if the slow, but I know for a fact the damage went down. But the distance that the champions can move with the Stridebreaker item was increased. And
don't tell me that.
It makes Juggernauts absolutely broken. Any semblance of weakness that comes out from like a Garen or a Darius, which
especially Darius
was to be able to kite them, is now gone because they can dash forward and slow you and damage you with one item there. So I do see the Darius as a very good ban there if they did not want to deal with that.
Oh, and then we got the Maokai. That's most likely top Maokai then in a Swain mid lane.
One thing I do want to say about Central Missouri here is I guess this is a Swain mid, but they lack a bit of damage so far. Like, they have the Jhin, which he isn't necessarily a traditional hypercarry like Tristana or Vayne that auto attack. Yeah. But they are lacking a bit of damage there. So hopefully they can find something here for this last jungle pick.
Yeah, hopefully that can be the case, especially since they have a Lulu and a Hecarim. Jhin, especially when he gets late game, especially if they go 100% crit Jhin with Collector now and Dark Harvest, you can essentially two-shot people. I mean, he's kind of always done that, but you can do that a lot better now. But with Lulu, she's going to be shielding, overgrowthing people. Jin's going to think that he might get the kill, and then Lulu saves somebody, and it's like, okay, Jin's fourth shot is gone. The Jinx. Okay.
So that is a Lucian mid there, and this team is absolutely loaded with damage. Jax also got a buff to his attack damage per level recently, so he is actually a very good pick right now.
Don't pick the Kindred. Don't pick the Kindred.
It looks like Central Missouri may be wanting the Kindred there, so they are hovering that, but they do lock in the Kindred, so that is a great damage option. They needed more damage.
Against Hecarim, though? Hecarim's going to be running across that map. Kindred won't be able to, Kindred has her little dash Q to stop a lot of the melee junglers from getting a hold of her because she's a range, but Hecarim's a really fast character.
Yeah, the real counter there, which it actually is kind of a counter there, is Hecarim can push opponents out of Kindred's ultimate. Yeah. So with that being said,
his dash ability, his fear, it's definitely. I mean, yes, it is the damage. I guess it just depends on how many stacks this Kindred can get early.
But Josh, this is a best of 3, so maybe UCM is throwing a couple picks out there just to see how PSU reacts to these picks. If the comp works out, then hey, next game we can pick the exact same comp, run it back. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So with these two comps here, who do you say has the edge, at least comp-wise, so far?
I mean, I think I have to go with Pittsburg right now. I just feel like they have a lot of damage and they have a lot of a mobility. I mean, we're going to keep saying it. The Hecarim's just a fast character. Lucian has a bunch of dashes. Lulu can speed up characters with her E, I believe. Yep. And Jax can hop onto somebody and stun them. And then if Jinx gets a kill, then she goes into, hyper carry mode and starts running and shooting like crazy. On the side of UCM right now, what I'm seeing is we have Jin, who's going to be doing some big solo attacks with his bullets if he gets 100% crit, and that's what I'm assuming with Dark Harvest. And then we have the Kindred, which will be going more the attack speed, probably Kraken Slayer on that account, to try and whittle them down. But they have a lot of, defense. Thresh, Swain, and Maokai, like, no matter what build you kind of go into, they're always going to build, like, pseudo tanks, no matter what.
I will say UCM does have a lot of CC also. They're with the Thresh Hook, the Thresh Box, and then I Flay, I believe, is the name of Thresh's other move there. They also have Jin, who provides slows and a snare. They have Swain, who provides slow, also a snare, and he can capitalize on his teammates' CC with his passive there. They also have Maokai, who has a nasty ultimate, and I believe his E is his snare. I can't quite remember that there, but I will say that UCM is very tanky. I do believe, well, it's a fact that they lack damage compared to PSU.
I honestly think the main thing that I'm not liking about UCM right now is the Kindred pick, because there's just the Hecarim will, like, it makes her ultimate. Her ultimate's very hard to hit in the first place. Sometimes it actually is a hinder on your own team
to use well.
So you got to use it well, and the Hecarim just pushes that. With two of his abilities, one's an ultimate, one's just a regular ability. So I think if the jungle pick was just slightly different, I don't think I would mind UCM's team, but it's concerning me a little bit.
One thing I will say is I do think that maybe a Lilia pick there would have been pretty well, considering that Jax and Hecarim have to get close to Jin is the main person who they want to protect also. So Lilia, with her spells and her Q on top of the ultimate there, can go ahead and sleep Jax or Hecarim or whoever wants to jump onto the Jin, allowing Jin to be able to get away. Because I will say, getting away from a Hecarim as an ADC, any ADC that's not like Xayah with her ultimate, is not fun at all. And Jin is a very immobile ADC there. So hence they do pick the Thresh there, because that does give Jin a bit of mobility there.
I think you're onto something with that Lilia pick too, because her passive, if she can get that stack, and she's going to be run around everybody as well, and that would really help with those mobility-based champions that Pittsburgh has right now.
Yes, that will. With that being said, we are going to be getting into the game here soon. We will be taking a short commercial break before we start, so stay tuned.
Taylor Industries is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports, a family-owned and operated business.
Imagine opportunity. Got it? Good. Now pursue it. Choose the right college to cultivate it. Discover your passion, your talent. Now share it. Embrace it. Go global. Find support, network, build your team. Set a goal, work hard, achieve it. Be proud of yourself. Celebrate it. Discover UCM. Discover opportunity in action.
You don't want a piece of paper. You want an opportunity. The opportunity to lead, to innovate, to transform. The opportunity to excel beyond what you thought possible. At the University of Central Missouri, your goals are achievable because we give you more support so your ambition faces fewer obstacles. Embrace your potential with the backing of 150 years of academic excellence, with undergraduate and graduate degrees available in Warrensburg, Lee Summit, and online. Discover UCM. Discover opportunity in action.
So what is your favorite Disney movie?
Favorite Disney movie?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Lion King. It's a good classic one.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic there. All right, let's go with, what is your go-to snack before a game?
Recently here it's been Sour Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Great choice.
Oh yeah.
When you were a kid, what did you wish to be when you grew up?
This is like completely different. Like a scientist, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just always liked science.
Just like science?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing now here in college?
Yeah, computer science.
Computer science.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get one more question for you there. What do you like to do on a rainy day?
On a rainy day? I'd say play League. but sometimes you do, sometimes you don't like playing League.
UCM game here. Generally, the early game is a bit of a snore fest here, as each team generally just goes to their jungle entrances and stands there just to make sure no shenanigans are going on, Josh.
I mean, UCM does have a lot of stuns. Having some a little bit technical difficulties, but I'll still keep going on. UCM has a lot of stuns, so I would not have been surprised if they wanted to do a sort of like engage into the enemy jungle on Pittsburg State, but you know, that's not really the way to go a lot of times, especially in the pros. It's a very risky move. You don't want somebody to get a lot of kills early on, but it looks like an early ward is being placed on UCM's top jungle. Swain is there though, so it is spotted by UCM. Hopefully they can work around that.
Hopefully they can. Generally, that's how it goes. You go and ward the Raptors just so that you can have a bit more information. Because at the end of the day, League of Legends is a information-based game. The way to be successful here is have more information than your opponent. You need to know what spells they have on cooldown. You need to have vision in the jungle. You need to have vision in your in the river there. So it is an information-based game, and generally that's what jungles do. As you can see, UCM also placed a ward in the pixel brush that is in the bottom river there, so that they can have a bit more information. So we are going to see the Hecarim here take red and have his bot lane leash form. So
Kindred on UCM's team though is going to take the red buff first, so it looks like UCM's Jhin and Thresh will be chilling in the bot bush, seeing if maybe they can get try bush. If they can get a cheeky pick, looks like they're just going to go straight to lane though.
That is very dangerous though, because if they did decide to get greedy and save those few seconds there and walk through try bush, Jhin Thresh is a kill lane if Thresh can land his hooks there. So that would have at the bare minimum burned a flash off of Jinx or Lulu.
Now, as you saw, we saw XCY Beast, the Hecarim, try and do maybe a cheeky kill early in the mid lane. However, an early ward was placed in the river bush, so it was spotted right away. Looks like Swain has to get out of lane, though, to try and contest against this Hecarim. He's losing some farm right now. You don't want to lose farm early on as a mid laner.
In solo queue, there is an issue, as bot does hit level 2 first, so they did try to go for that hook there. But as I was saying, in solo queue at least, leaving your lane to help your jungle as a mid is usually a death sentence for your laning phase. You will be down in gold and down in experience there, as Lucian is getting a great trade-off there on Swain.
I mean, Lucian, as we all know, is a very early champion too. He does a lot of pressure at like level 2, level 3 especially, and you know, already double the CS right now. Obviously, that's not a lot of CS, but that is probably close to either half a level or a full level on the Swain right now.
And one thing I want the viewers to notice there is that Maokai decided to go in on the Jax here once more, but what I want to know is that he is engaging into Jax's minions. Generally, with any lane that you play, you don't want to have to engage into the opponent's minions. You want them to have to come into your minions, because the damage from the minions a lot of times is underrated by the opponent. They don't realize that 200 damage from minions is a big deal, especially in the early levels.
Early on, yeah, you get hit by 4 of them and you're like, oh, that's like an eighth of my health right there. Yeah, I think he was feeling confident though, because as we can see from the item bar on the bottom, Jax bought red pot, while the Maokai bought a corrupting pot, which means he has 3 uses of it, and Maokai has a healing ability. But right off the bat, Hecarim does come in to try and gank top lane, is able to get the dash, will be pushing this Maokai back. Jax being able to get the stun, and so much damage coming in from both Hecarim and Jax will be causing Maokai to lose his first life. And that is the sad thing about top lane, because you feel like you could play playing top lane perfectly well, and all of a sudden you just get ganked because it's one of the easiest places to gank.
Yes, it is a very long lane. It is considered the longest lane and the most unsafe lane, unforgiving lane in the game, as now Jax also has the teleport advantage. So he got support, or at least he got assist gold off of that kill there. And here comes Thresh engaging in on the Lulu, and here comes the Kindred getting pulled in by the Thresh, not able to get the distance as the Lulu is able to make it away, and that is very unfortunate there for UCM.
Now, Nay Crusade, sorry if I'm saying these wrong, Jinx played that perfectly. Lulu was going to die. Thresh did the right thing, pulled out his lantern, so we saw the Kindred coming in from the bottom bush, was able to get the pull in. However, Jinx perfectly placed her bombs and stopped the advance, so that meant Kindred could not come in and contribute to the damage. Lulu barely survived that. If that wouldn't have happened, that would have been a kill for UCM's side.
And they would have been able to tie the game up here. As you can see, PSU is 7.5k gold compared to UCM 6.9. So about 500, 600 gold there. And that is coming from that kill that happened in top. But one thing I want to say is that I personally don't like using Jinx because I can never capture people with her chompers. I feel like it takes so long to proc that it just isn't worth it. As Hecarim is coming in through the bot, is onto the Jhin. Jhin does get caught by the chompers, and Jhin tries to get away, but he is not able to do that. And that Hecarim is going berserk.
How do you hook the Hecarim? I thought he was going to hook the Lulu, to be quite honest there. But I mean, you can see on the map, the UCM actually placed a ward roughly almost all the way up to Dragon Pit. But even with that ward all the way up there, they probably noticed Hecarim and still couldn't do nothing because Hecarim is just that fast coming into any lane.
And then we did talk about that in the champ select there as hold that thought as Swain is going to tick away to the ignite. That is so unfortunate there for Fly Gills as Kindred was coming in to help that out. But as I was saying, we did talk about the mobility that is on the side of Pitt State. We talked about how UCM is more of a death ball comp. They're tanky, they're big, they have CC, but they lack the mobility that PSU has, and that is coming into play here.
It definitely is. This Hecarim is doing its job, getting these early kills where it's the easiest, since he definitely has, if not the best mobility in the game at level 5. Maybe Rammus can challenge that, but not by a lot. And, you know, Kindred, just while she's arranged and while, you know, can get around, get her stacks, it just not the same type of mobility that Hecarim, not the same type of pressure that Hecarim can bring to a match.
Kill pressure and mobility there, but as you can see, Hecarim is having a bit of a junk dip here. He is playing very well. He's up in farm and he is up in kills. He also has a 150G bounty at 7 minutes, which is very, very nice. And these are the type of jungles that I particularly like, the ones that gank. I prefer the ganking jungles over the farm until 15-20 minute jungles because there's psychological game to League of Legends too, right? So getting ganked 3 times in a row is going to tilt the opponent, which is in turn going to make him play worse overall and probably make his teammates play worse. So I prefer the psychological game of ganking versus farming and then trying to carry.
And I mean, sometimes it isn't even, you know, your own teammate's fault. It's just that Hecarim's so fast that you can't really catch the momentum that he's bringing in. And while it looks like, you know, Hecarim's ganked 3 times, it's like, okay, but I've been the top and bot, you know, and he's also been top and bot, and he's also been able to gank mid twice. You know, it's like, oh, and just like that, though, Kindred is coming in. We do get the Maokai ult coming in. We'll be getting the stun off of the Jax. Jax right now seems to not be playing the best. We do get the stun off of Swain. We'll be popping off his ult. Lets it go too early. Thought he was in range for the Lucian to try and get the kill. Not able to pop it off in time. The Lucian barely survives.
That is very unfortunate there for Fly Gills, as that would have been huge. As Hecarim is coming in bot, and as you can see, he covers so much distance instantly. He actually goes under the tower. I'm sure that was an accident. He didn't mean to cover that much ground, but not even the Hecarim player knows how much ground he's going to be able to cover there. And that just shows you the mobility that comes out of the Hecarim. But UCM is able to survive that gank.
You know, and you say, yeah, I don't know if he knew how far he was going. I think he was purposely trying to go for the Jhin because Jhin happened to move back towards the tower, which I also was not expecting at that moment. So I can't blame Hecarim for kind of chasing him for a little bit, because if he would have been playing just off of his move right there, Thresh was definitely a lot more targetable as a player. Maybe would have even been able to get the kill, but it took a little bit. It took like 2 seconds for the Hecarim to switch targets onto the Thresh. And Thresh, you know, once he gets under tower, it's very risky to attack the Thresh and Jhin.
One thing I want to mention here is the CS difference here in mid lane. The Lucian is at 71 farm to 37 farm of the Swain. That is extremely unfortunate, considering Swain is also down in level, as he did die once. At this point, Josh, would you say that ganking mid is a viable choice, considering Swain is so far behind?
I would say probably not, for 2 reasons. One, right now, even though Lucian has this huge CS lead, he doesn't have any bounty right now. So if they die mid lane, they're only feeding him more.
Hold that thought, as Jax is able to jump on the Kindred and absolutely destroys her. And Flag Gills is going to drop here shortly to either Hecarim or the Jax. And they do give that kill over to the Hecarim. And Hecarim is on a rampage here. He has been in on 4 of his team's 5 kills here. And I do believe, actually, they don't want to take Shelly there.
Maokai barely got back. We saw the Jax barely brushing into the bush right before he was able to get back. Had his little Meow Seed, since he's Maokai, was able to get him. I think right now, if it wasn't for the Hecarim pressure, I get a little bit more confident with this Maokai, because it seems like Jax isn't really bringing the A game right now. But, it's just really hard to do that whenever the jungler could come in at any moment.
And I did speak too soon. Hecarim does seem to be taking Shelly there, so that is going to be a Rift Herald that is going to go over to the side of Pitt State here. And as you can see, the gold is 16.8k going on 17k to 13k, so it is about 3k in the favor of Pitt State here at 10 minutes. That is massive, and UCM is going to have a very hard time coming back from that if Pitt State plays the way they've been playing so far.
Yeah, and I mean, like that's coming from the 4 kills. They also got first blood, so that's a little bit extra gold, and just the mid lane CS difference right now. Of course, there's some other factors going in there, but those are the main two.
A dragon also.
Yes, the dragon did come in. Pittsburg was able to take the Mountain Drake, which means it won't be a Mountain Soul. That's actually pretty good for Pitts because they're not tanky. Hecarim and maybe Jax can get a bit tanky, but that's about it.
It's also not going to be an air dragon either, so that means it's either going to be the Inferno Drake or the Ocean Drake. Either way, those are the 2 top tier Drakes in the game. Josh, you want to go ahead and explain what each of those Drakes does?
Well, I'll only go over the 2 since they will be the ones showing up right now. If they are able to get the Infernal Drake, we'll see after this pops up in just a few more seconds. It's actually the Ocean Drake. So what the Ocean Drake is going to do is it's going to spawn a lot more of those bushes. You can see that, they're growing flowers now. They seem a little bit thicker than before. You're going to see a little bit more of the honey pots around the map that can give some extra health to players in need. If they are able to get the soul, they will be healing for a percentage max health per second outside of combat.
And that Ocean Drake is nasty, as Maokai is doing big time damage there. I do believe the minions came into play there and helped him out a bit. But as you were saying, with the Ocean Drake there, especially on tankier teams, which Pitt State isn't quite yet, but with UCM, that will make them extremely hard to kill once you have the healing coming in there from UCM on top of how tanky they already are. So if UCM is able to capture that Ocean Drake, I do expect there to be some executioners coming out from the side of Pitt State there.
And I honestly think it can make or break UCM's team because, like you said, they're so tanky. Maokai already has a healing factor. I'm just now noticing the Swain actually went Conqueror, so he has a lot more healing rather than burst damage in his kit right now. Not able to land the stun, sadly, on this Lucian. Lucian is just too fast, and it's just so much pressure going on in this mid lane. Flygills is having a tough time against Kawhi Arrow.
Very tough time. He's over 50 CS down. And one thing I do want to mention also is that Pitt State is all AD. And UCM is very, very tanky. They are able to, as Hecarim is coming in onto the Jhin, and Jhin pulls himself into a chomper, not able to complete that pull there, as Lucian is going in on the Kindred. Here comes the Hecarim, big and bad. Kindred does pop the ultimate. Thresh is able to pull. Oh, Kindred is still going to die there as Hecarim is able to chase that. There was a lot going on there as Maokai comes in, ready to put in some work, but this Hecarim is on a rampage. They're not able to take him down as Thresh whiffs on that hook.
A lot of issues in that fight. We saw the Thresh and Jhin get the hook on the Jinx, which was the correct move. However, they did not have the ward to notice the Hecarim rushing in around the corner. Whenever that happened, we saw the Maokai actually teleport into the bot lane bush. There was a ward in UCM's jungle. However, it was too slow. Hecarim was too fast. While Jhin was able to flash and heal over, the Jinx ult came in and sniped him out, which caused the first death out of that fight. Once that happened, they needed to back off. They don't have the main ADC. They still have Kindred, but Kindred's a jungler as well. You gotta keep her alive too. And without the other ADC, a lot of damage is taken away from UCM. So whenever Kindred decided to go and engage with her ultimate, I kind of figured that she was gonna die there.
And one thing I want to mention, one interaction I want to mention is that if this Jinx is good, which it looks like she is, she can throw her chompers in the way of Thresh's Lantern. So no matter if Jhin grabs the Lantern or not, if the chompers are in front of it, Jin's going to be snared there. As you just saw there in the bottom lane, it's not an interaction that I've seen much as Jinx, isn't used that much. She's coming back into the meta. She's gotten some buffs, but that interaction is very interesting, and maybe that's why the Jinx pick came out.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact order. I wonder if the Jinx did come from the
the very last pick.
Yeah, then it most likely was a counter to the Thresh Jhin. Because it's like Thresh Jin is a huge kill potential lane.
I have never seen that interaction, but that is very interesting, and we did see it there. As you can see, the state of the game is in the favor of Pitt State, as UCM is fighting for everything. They have to fight for everything. Hecarim ults over the wall. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe he wanted that Scuttlecraft just that badly, and Hecarim could go down here, but big damage coming out onto the Kindred. Hecarim is snared there as Lucian is putting big damage in on the Jhin, and Hecarim is having to run off. Jhin is able, or Lucian, excuse me, is able to flash that Thresh snare there, or Thresh hook there, excuse me, and I'm not quite sure that the Maokai ultimate hit him in that.
I don't believe. I think Lucian was barely. It was either Lucian was able to get out of it, or he actually got hit by it, but he also dashed at the same time, so it didn't appear to be like he got hit by it.
Okay.
Unfortunately for UCM, they had a bit of split focus. You know, Hecarim was in their top jungle, and the Kindred and Thresh were kind of aiming for that because Jhin was able to get the stun off. Kindred was coming in from the top tri-bush, and Thresh was looking over to the Rift Herald pit to see if he can get a stun while he was behind that wall. At the exact same time, Lucian's attacking this Jhin. Thresh is really close next to Jhin, but the split focus just wasn't there, and we had two different fights, which meant that UCM wasn't able to get a single kill off of any of them.
That's unfortunate because Hecarim was very, very deep into their jungle too. He was way past the red buff after he hit the bramble bush on that side, and he does have a 400G bounty. So on top of the 300 you already get from getting the kill, you will get that extra 400. And as you can see there, Lucian also has a 300G, but UCM is in on the hunt here for the Lulu. They may just get this kill. Lulu has to ult herself, but she does go down. Maokai is taking a bunch of damage. He might go down. He's able to make it away because of the Kindred ult. Hecarim is running through, and the Lucian burns off to the Ignite. Jinx is pecking off on the Swain, but Swain putting in his own work. Here comes the Jax going in on the Maokai, not able to get that, but the Wild Horse is running wild, and Kindred is able to get that shutdown there, securing 700G, and they may just be able to get the Jax here, and if they do, that should secure them Dragon.
You know, I was going to say, okay, now that I'm looking at it, I can't see what type of rune Jax has. I'm assuming it's Conqueror. I was going to say, he just got into that fight. He probably has his max stacks on his passive, which is going to give him the extra attack speed to fight, and Conqueror was most likely at max stacks after he just killed somebody. So if he would have went back into that fight, he might have been able to get another one. However, it looks like the Kindred and Jhin was able to do more damage than he was able to even get close, and he was too afraid of running away. So that meant UCM was actually able to win that fight and also get the Water Drake, which we talked about could be a huge breaker for UCM's win condition.
And I'm going to say that was a bit of a throw there from the side of PSU. Lulu did get caught there and had to burn all of her spells on herself, not allowing her to protect Lucian and Hecarim and Jax as she needed to. And that dragon is huge for UCM, as that puts them on the road for Soul. So 2 more Ocean Dragons there, and they will have that Soul. That was a big fight for UCM, huge.
And Kindred got the ult off right before Maokai was going to die. Maokai had literally a slither of health, and I thought the Hecarim ult was going to come in, but I guess it was just on a few more seconds of a cooldown. It wasn't exactly ready yet, and he had to escape through the bot jungle, which meant Maokai was able to hop in. However, we see the flash coming in from the Thresh, tries to get the hook, misses it, isn't able to get the rend off. So much damage is coming off. Kindred hops in and just barely misses it. She's taking so much damage. Here comes the Jhin ult. Should have been popping a little bit sooner. I don't know if it wasn't up or not. Isn't able to find a single shot. This Lucian will be escaping for like the 3rd time in a row.
That is brutal, Josh, as Vincaro does burn his flash to try to get that. In that situation, you burn your flash, you flay, and then you use your hook because you have the slow there and you have a much higher percentage chance of hitting that hook. And that is super unfortunate, as Lucian is one of their primary targets, and that could have allowed them at least a bit more breathing room here, and that's a heartbreaker for UCM.
To be fair, Lucian does not have the bounty anymore, so it wasn't as big of a loss that they were expecting. Still a loss, mind you. And maybe Thresh was hoping that, or was predicting that Lucian would have seen the flash coming and try to dash before, so he tried to get the hook going to stop all momentum and get him into the combo, but sadly none of that happened. Should have went for the Flay instead, or Rend. Flay. Rend is Callista. Sorry.
She's not in this game, Josh. But one thing I want to point out also is Thresh's choice of boots here. He does go the swiftness boots instead of, and let me hold that thought, as Vincaro and 8-Bit Hypocrite here are on the Jax. They don't have much damage, so hopefully they can finish this off before Jax is able to peck off. There goes the Ignite on the Jax. Jax is still putting in work, but UCM is able to complete that kill. But generally, you see Thresh with the mobility boots because it allows you speed outside of combat and allows him roaming ability. And this will be a tower going over to the side of PSU. And Jin is just getting chased away. And there's that Hecarim ult / push combo that I was talking about. Here comes the Kindred, able to ult there, but it does look like that's going to be a dead Kindred. No, Kindred is able to get away. And excuse me, she is not able to get away as a very long-range Jinx rocket comes out and pops her.
Sad to see. I'm surprised Jin was able to escape. We do see the ult coming out. Swain pops his ult extremely early, and he keeps on getting slowed, so his ultimate isn't being able to be used for anything. Does get the W off his eye, demonic eye. Gets a stun off, too. Not able to get the ultimate damage off, but we see the Thresh land the hook. Lulu's barely surviving. The shield is allowing her to stay alive. Hecarim and Jinx are just playing the poking game, making sure that Lulu, everybody's able to get out just fine.
Very long range snare there coming out from the Swain, but unfortunately it was just a bit out of range for the burst damage that comes out from his ultimate, so Lulu is able to get away. But another thing I want to mention is that Jinx did get a buff to her range on her I forget the name of the gun, but it's the rocket launcher gun. And as you saw there, Kendrick got hit by Fishbones. Excuse me. Yes, Fishbones. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. I don't know why I know that. I don't play Jinx.
Kendrick got hit by a very long-range rocket there, and it looked like she had quite a bit of HP. So there goes that Jinx buff coming in, and it might have even had the Kraken Slayer proc on it. So looks like PSU is setting up for a Baron maybe, or at least pressuring it.
And it looks like they're all just chilling on top of the little scuttler. So much mobility coming out. I don't see a problem with that. Not trying to catch anybody off guard. If anything, they'd pop in, see them on it, and then we see the Hecarim ghost in, and it'd be all over then. So we don't see them attempting to do the Baron, though. I guess they're just stalling for time.
One thing I will say is that UCM is posturing up for this Dragon here, and they may just trade it. I personally think this is a decent trade at minimum because it does put them on the road to Soul Point. And if they can survive the duration of this Baron, they are in a pretty good position.
But the Drake isn't coming up for another 20 seconds. Ample time for Pittsburgh to go down to Drake right now if they wanted to.
And on top of that, as you do see, UCM's bottom inhibitor is taken. So if they would have contested that Baron and lost the fight, that may have given PSU the opportunity to go ahead and win the game because, as you can see, Jax does have his teleport up, and he is an amazing split pusher. But this is UCM going in on this Drake here.
Lulu was able to spot out that they are attacking this. Hecarim has the ultimate right now. He could just dash in and dash out, but looks like no dice. UCM will be taking the second Water Drake, 3 Drakes overall, 1 more to Soul.
So they are well on their way to Soul. If they get the Soul, that is huge. That could be a win condition for them as they are down about 9K, though. That is a massive, massive amount to try to come back from.
That's 3 full built items.
But one thing I do want to say is in that situation, I probably would have pulled the Drake out because Hecarim can go over the wall instantly and take that with a smite.
I literally said he could dash over, dash right back out. A very risky move. Luckily, XCY Beast was too afraid. I don't know if it was because of the Baron buff, and they're like, I think it's more important to get that. We see the Thresh hook coming onto the Jink. No follow-up, though. Maokai tries to jump in at the last second, but the explosives was able to stop the Thresh hook from coming in. Maokai isn't able to do nothing. We see the Hecarim ult, and the Maokai's burning. The Kindred has to pop the ult underneath the tower and flashes out of it. However, Swain goes in for the ult, trying to stop this Hecarim. Hecarim's taking no damage, though, which means the ADCs can just pile in because Hecarim is able to take the turret damage. And it looks like Jin might be going out. Nope, Jin is going to barely be able to survive that one as well. Or Josh, not barely. He has a lot of health, but Lucian was hot on the trail.
That is going to be match point going over, or not match point, excuse me, but this match going over to PSU. Vin Carl had the right idea there, but there was just no follow-up on his initiation. And with them, PSU having Baron, there was just no chance for these 3 to be able to put out the damage to stave them off. So that will be this match going over to Pittsburg State.
I mean, we did talk about how UCM kind of low on the damage. Only people really able to do damage was Jin and the Kindred. I think if maybe the Swain went electrocute, we could have maybe seen a little bit of burst damage coming in. But, I mean, even without that, we saw that Swain was very far behind during laning phase. So wasn't even with that burst damage coming in from the Swain, possibly, I don't think that would have happened.
Maybe not. But with that being said, we are going to take a short commercial break before we get into the draft phase for the next game. Stick around, guys.
Culver's is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports. Welcome to Delicious.
or Parks and Rec?
My girlfriend just actually got me into The Office, so I'm gonna say The Office.
Oh man, but you've already seen Parks and Rec.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it. Look at you, be like, man, I want to nerf this.
Probably Aatrox.
Aatrox. He gets quite a few nerfs.
Yeah.
All right.
They need to keep coming.
Yeah. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
For League or?
Just in general or League? Best piece of advice.
Well, I'm a very anxious person, so when a very close friend of mine just told me, like, hey, if you're, like, having anxiety, like, getting up in front of people, like, to talk or something like that, just know that no one really cares.
Hello and welcome back. We are here. We are going to be getting into the draft phase here in just a little bit. But Josh, I want to talk a bit about that last game. Some of the things we talked about did come to fruition. The mobility coming out from Pitt State came to fruition. The Hecker Rim, which we talked about, which like I said is an extremely strong pick right now, just went on a rampage there and ran through UCM.
Yeah, I mean, as an ADC and support main myself, Hecarim's the bane of my existence. I will usually when I'm playing jungle too, as like a flex pick, I still ban him just because I don't want to. I don't want to give my ADC a hard time. But the mobility, the Hecarim was just so powerful early on. It stopped mid lane from getting, or mid lane got 2 kills extremely early, which meant that the Swain was really far behind. Swain also had to go and stop the Hecarim from clearing a ward like 3 minutes into the match, which like lost half the CS. And like I said, it's not a lot of CS. Half the CS at like 3 minutes is not a lot. But it's still your mid lane. That's the fastest the CS is going to be moving across the map. You're going to be losing a lot of XP.
And in these competitive games, these players capitalize on these smallest mistakes. 3 CS difference there does allow Lucian to get to his level 2 first. Lucian is the early game burst champ. Once he hits level 2 before you, he's going to go all in on you. And as we saw there, Swain did lose, I believe, 2/3 of his HP on Lucian's level 2. He was not put in the position to be competitive this game or to be successful, and that's unfortunate there. Maybe they switch it up here for this next game, but I'm excited to see if they decide to bend the Hecker Rim.
Yeah, I mean, going back on that Lucian real quick. He also went Ignite, very aggressive Lucian mid laner right there. And, you know, so many dashes. Every time he's going to be using his ability, he's going to get 2 shots off, and then the Ignite will be burnt, ticking for like 150 true damage that early on in the game. And that's not, like, Swain has no form of like really self-sustain at that point. You know, it doesn't have his crows proccing to give him that extra health that he gets a little bit tanky later in the game. So it's just really rough. And and like I said, I don't want to knock Kindred because Kindred's like one of my favorite lore-wise, but she's not really meta right now. Very reliant on stacks, which means that she has to get them before the 20-minute mark, or she's kind of useless at times. Yeah. And then the ultimate, we did see a couple of good ultimates coming in from the Kindred. I will give him that. Saved a lot of his teammates a lot of times, did not hinder his teammates at all.
And it seems to me in that last game, I did say that I liked the trade for the Baron and the Drake there. And I did say that if they could survive the Baron, they were in a good position to get their win condition and get that Ocean Drake. Unfortunately, PSU did not give them the opportunity to survive there. They didn't give them the opportunity to turtle. They pushed their lead, which I believe was above 10K by the end of the match, had to be. And we are going to get into the ban phase here as Central Missouri.
There's just too much going on. I want to keep talking, but, you know, we do have a Vladimir pick for the first one.
Yeah, so a Vladimir ban coming out for Central Missouri again. They must have done their homework. There has to be a very good Vladimir pick there, or player, excuse me, on the side of Pitt State. And out comes the Urgot once more, but this time coming from Pittsburg State.
That seems to be the case. Maybe the Swain was the Vladimir player, or it would either have to be that or the Mount guy, one of the two.
Well, we banned Vladimir as we are on this side. So
sorry, I forgot they switched. You know, it was on the other side. Well, you know, just forget that.
Yeah,
Never mind.
We're on blue side this time around. So Central Missouri is on blue side, and there goes the Caitlyn ban once more, and that's actually quite surprising because she is drowned out by a lot of the meta ADCs such as Vayne, Kai'Sa.
I mean, I feel like Kai'Sa is super strong right now. I don't like facing her. Right, like I used to like before when I saw Kai'Sa, I'm like, okay. But now it's like, oh my god, she can get 21 kills and nobody can stop her.
And out comes the Vagar ban. I don't quite remember if we saw that last ban
I
phase
think there was a
but
Vagar.
That is quite interesting. And as we do have a slight glitch there, we cannot see the second pick or the second ban rather from UCM.
But that was Caitlyn.
Us. But it does it again. All right, so yes, let's keep track. So it was Vladimir, Caitlyn, and now Fizz. I'm not quite sure what is going on there, but those two bans are Caitlyn and Fizz. So we are anxious to see this third ban out of PSU, and there's the Galio.
There's
again.
the Galio. I will go to that Fizz real quick since we talked about the Galio last time. Fizz, definitely one that and it's another ADC support thing. You don't want to face him. If he can either become extremely useless mid lane, or he can become super powerful. I mean, he has this little thing where he jumps onto his pole and becomes untargetable, which is
Playful
stupid.
trickster.
I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense. And if he can start stacking some Magi's, he becomes an assassin you don't want to deal with.
He one-shots ADCs. And as you can see here, Josh, Central Missouri said, no, we are not giving you the Horseman. We are taking the Horseman. And there goes the Hecarim pick coming from UCM. And like I said, he is a power pick. He is very, very strong. And UCM does pick him this time around. I'm anxious to see that if UCM loses or wins this, if either side will ban Hecarim.
Now the Skarner though, I don't see him too often, but I do like him. His ultimate, extremely useful. Literally just grabs somebody, says get over here, and pulls him into the enemy line. And once you get entrapped, you're basically dead. There's really no way gain out of it.
Skarner actually is meta now
yeah.
with the new items. Specifically the Turbo Kim tank. He's basically like Udyr or a pseudo Udyr, but has a better ultimate. And Turbo Kim tank, what it does is gives you 75% movement speed towards enemy champions. That combined with Skarner's shield / speed boost, which he already has, and then his ultimate makes him very, very deadly. So he is meta now.
What if he had Predator too? That'd be
and
don't want to deal with that.
There comes the Malphite and the Nico pick coming from UCM. So far, very, very strong team fighting comp coming out from UCM.
We are seeing the Lucian again, so we're most likely going to be seeing that Lucian mid. So we should be expecting at least one more ADC coming in from Pittsburgh right now. The Nico though, I'm assuming that will be the mid lane. Malphite will go top lane. Technically, you could play both of them support, but they are very, very, very off meta on the support pick.
Nico actually has been getting a bit of support play in the LCS I have seen, and she's not bad. She has a very nice snare and a very nice ultimate there to combo. And there comes the Jinx pick again from the side of Pitt State. So we have the Lucian Jinx combo there, and the only difference here so far is the Skarner, as UCM did take the Hecarim. So they might just run back the same two champions. I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
And if this Nico and Malphite are mid and top, there goes the ban on the Jhin, so that means we will not be seeing our newcomer picking it. I wonder what his next pick, like what his second ADC pick is.
I'm hoping to see some Vayne here. But
you just like Vayne. That's just
I
you.
love Vayne. She's actually one of my most played champions behind Echo. So I am a very, I guess you could say, edgy player.
I mean, it would be very good against the Skarner as well. Tumbling around, going invisible, able to get that true damage off with Kraken Slayer proccing with her passive. Could do a lot of damage to that tanky jungler. Let's see. It will be a good pick. I do believe it would be a very good pick into this comp.
I'm not sure. They so far at least they have a very nice team comp or team fighting comp there. So I doubt they'll pick Vayne. Their damage is pretty high also at the moment, but the bans are done here, and like we said, we do have a slight glitch there, and those two bans there are
Caitlyn
and Fizz. So we have the Caitlyn and Fizz bans there, and then out comes the Nautilus and Leona ban from both of these teams respectively.
Now, if you think Jhin Thresh is bad, I used to rock the Jhin Nautilus with the support guy, and we never lost matches. Jhin Nautilus is just real. I mean, Nautilus is just a great support. You could be bad at the support role, play Nautilus, and you could probably do just fine.
There's a reason there's so many Nautilus memes where he just throws his hook and it hits you regardless of where you're at. There seems to be slight hitbox differences with Nautilus's hook there. It is very funny. Sometimes you hit hooks from miles away and you're like, I don't even think I should hit that hook. But
also has the
I'll
point
take
and
it.
click. Oh, we have the Kai'Sa Pantheon bot lane. I'm assuming that's bot lane. I hope it's bot lane. I love Pantheon support. Really came into meta this season. He was partially meta in the last season, but the items allow him to be more self-sustained and not just engage and die immediately. if Pantheon can get the kills over to Kaisa, that can be an extreme hyper carry for UCM.
Looking at these two compositions here, Josh, I am of the ilk that UCM has a much better comp here. PSU is very squishy here. Outside of the Jax and maybe the Skarner if he decides to go maybe like a pseudo bruiser build. But they are very squishy, and if UCM can get on them, which they have the Hecarim ult, the Pantheon ult, the Kaisa ult, the Maokai ult, and Nico to a lesser degree, they can put in some work here. The two ADCs plus Nico are going to absolutely melt when it comes to team fights.
Now, you think this Malphite will be going tank Malphite or AP Malphite?
Oh, he's going tank. For sure.
Tank all the way?
There's no way he's if he goes AP.
But I mean, there's so many squishies on the enemy team,
It's enticing, but they need a tank.
That is true, but it's so good. I love AP Malphite. You just literally ult in every 40 seconds, and hopefully you get a team wipe.
Yeah, AP Mouth in like solo queue is very, very annoying, especially as a squishy mid or an ADC. If he ults you, you're gonna die. There's been games where I play like Vayne, which is a very, as we were just talking about, it's a very close range ADC, and playing against a Malphite is absolutely dreadful. But I doubt that he will be going AP, as 8-Bit Hypocrite generally goes
tank builds.
Tank builds on everything he plays.
Which, I mean, I don't mind that. Top lane, I feel like should be, this like the big old bruiser type. I usually go like an Ornn or Set, sometimes a Mordekaiser. We'll see. But I'm more excited about this bot lane. As you know, I just love Pantheon.
This is a kill lane, definitely a kill lane. If Pantheon gets on the Nami specifically, because if he does jump on the Jinx, Nami can bubble and heal the Jinx as needed. But if they are able to get on the Nami, there's no way that Nami can really pill herself until she hits at least 6. So I am excited to see how aggressive VTech and Vincaro do get here. It's a difference from the last game.
Now, for those of you who saw Pantheon maybe last season, this season his shield no longer tanks turret shots. We saw a lot of times the reason why he was popular support was he could go underneath tower, get the aggro, shield up, tank a couple shots while everybody does all the damage, and then back away without taking anything. But this one, they finally said, okay, he needs to be nerfed a little bit, took away that ability, will be tanking the tower shots if he gets under, even with the shield. However, if he's able to get the brush off with his E or his shielding attack, gets a huge amount of movement speed. It took me a while to realize that happened, and I thought it was an item. Because the speed that he gets is insane, really, and he can just keep on going in, getting in with that spear, maybe getting that 5th shot, not the execution, but the extra damage going in.
One thing I do want to say is I'm glad that interaction was taken out of the game. For example, Jax way back in the day, I don't know if you played way back then, but his spin move or whatever would dodge turret shots. And they were like, no, that is absolutely broken. We need to take that out of the game. Here comes Pantheon in season 8 or 9, whenever they reworked him, and he can do the same thing that Jax was able to do. And I'm like, yo, if you take this away from Jax, why would you allow Pantheon to block tower shots like that? So I am extremely excited that was taken out, because his ability to pressure under tower and tower dive was unmatched by anybody else, especially when it came to him being in the bottom lane there. So this kill lane here from Kaisa and Pantheon is expected to carry the team or carry the side of UCM, but the Hecarim and the Malphite ult are also massive.
What needs to happen, though, is this VTech and Vincaro will need to get the kills early on, because like we said, Kaisa, Pantheon, very huge kill lane. Pantheon falls off extremely fast, though. Literally every minute that ticks by, Pantheon's getting weaker by the minute. You need to get that early kills, and that's why I said he needs to allow Kaisa or VTech to get those kills, because when it's late in the game, it's going to be VTech that's going to be team wiping everybody.
I will say that UCM did draft very well. They do have the scaling with the Kaisa. So if Kaisa doesn't necessarily get the kills late game, once she does hit like her Kraken power spike, if that's what she decides to go, or she might go Gale Force her, because they are
Gale Force is really strong right now.
They're pretty squishy. So if she decides to go that, they do have the scaling there, but they also have the early game pressure with the Pantheon, the Malphite, and Hecarim is just an all-around menace. I feel like he's very strong through all phases of the game. And Nico, she also falls off. So she's a very early game champion, but she also falls off, as does Pantheon in the late game. But
her ultimate does do wonders, though, especially with the Malphite ult. If she can get that ultimate, get 3 of them in there, we'll be stunning them. Malphite can go in, hitting them all, getting that huge damage in, and that could probably be a team wipe right there.
That could be. So we are rooting for UCM in this one. But with that being said, we are going to send it to a short break before we get into the game. Stick around, guys.
Singular Industries is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports, a family-owned and operated business.
What is your favorite smell in the whole world?
Favorite smell? Oh man. Probably just any type of food. Just any food.
Okay, alright. If you could shop for free at one store, which would you choose?
Okay, GameStop.
Not Best Buy, right?
Nah, probably not.
Okay. Buff, nerf, remove. Champions in League of Legends.
Oh man. Okay. I want to see a buff for Corki, which he kind of got recently. Nerf set. I realize he probably, I just don't like fighting him. Remove Aphelios. Get him out of the video game. Just make him go away.
So the two most recent champs, you want nerfed and removed.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I can say something about League of Legends there. All right. Hello and welcome to the second match of the meta tournament here. As we do see UCM with a bit of shenanigans here, they are 5-man stacking and they might just be able to catch this Jax here on the tri-bush.
If Pantheon goes in first, which I'm assuming they will, has the W procced up and ready, will be getting the stun off. It looks like Jax isn't there. Jax isn't playing right now. First Blood will be going over to Kaisa, and that's going to be most likely the carry for the team. So that's some huge gold lead right there. I mean, it's only 500, but still, this is a tournament. What's going on?
We've all been there, Josh, where we alt tab at the beginning of the match thinking, hey,
when I'm solo queuing or when I'm with the party and I'm like, I got to use the restroom real quick, guys. Hold on a second. Not whenever I'm if I'm doing Clash, that's not what I'm doing.
He may have been alt tabbed, or maybe he was preoccupied with his texting or something. But nonetheless, UCM capitalized on it, and that is a mistake coming out from Pitt State. We take no prisoners here. That is First Blood going over to Kaisa, and that is a huge start down bottom for that kill lane. As she did recall and also by a longsword.
I mean, might as well. You get the kill extremely. It wasn't like they were waiting there forever. They literally went top lane, like set up for like 5 seconds, made sure Pantheon was ready, and then just went straight in. So I fully expect that. Also, Hecarim seems to be starting blue since he was already up here, so perfect time for Kaisa and Pantheon just to recall and go back to their bot lane.
And I will say that is an excellent invade there, as we do have the Pantheon stun that we were talking about, but we also have the Nico stun.
Oh, here we go. Another Pantheon stun right there. We'll be getting the press of the attack damage on. Half plasma stacks going on too. However, still level 1, no level 2 advantage yet. That might have been a kill if that would have happened.
As you can see here, Flygills is getting pressured early once more. He did not take the advantage and tried to at least get his level 2 at the same time. So he is down to about half HP already against this Lucian.
Now, Duels 53, the Fishman, Nami, there we go, couldn't remember the name for a second, will be placing a ward in that middle bottom bush, so that way Pantheon can't just chill in there waiting to get the W proc off on the stun. For Kaisa just going for easy damage. Looks like Flygills isn't able to find the stun. Lucian is able to get some cheeky damage as well.
And I like that nickname you gave there, the Nami, the Fishman. But, I mean, you can also give that to Pike, I believe. Pike goes fishing.
He definitely is a fishman.
So we have Fishman down there with the Nami. But Vinkar looks like he wants to go in, and he does go in on the Nami, and that's the damage we were talking about, as they do take Nami very, very low. And as I was saying, if you jump on the Nami, she has no way to really pill herself until 6. And even then, it's not that great of a pill there. So you see him doing well in the bot lane, and this could be be bad for Flygills.
Seems to be no ward inside that river bush, and it seems like Skarner's just waiting in, creeping for his moment. If Flygills goes anywhere near the top river, looks like she's actually going bottom river because Heckram's down there. Looks like Skarner's going to back off because he has no way of doing anything.
Yeah, she basically went over there to make sure that Hecarim could get his scuttle without being accosted by the Skarner there. But with that being said, guys, you do want to, at around 3 minutes generally is when the jungles are done with their first rounds and wanting to get into their ganks before they go to scuttle. If you're in mid lane specifically or bottom lane or top, whatever, you want to ward around 3 minutes because generally that's when the enemy jungle will be coming after you. As you saw there, Flygills didn't have a ward there. I believe he may have warded down in the bottom river, but he did not have one in the top, and he could have paid dearly for that.
Going in, we since it was VTech and Vinscarl getting that early advantage, they did place a not like a really deep ward, but a somewhat deep ward into the bot enemy jungle. So that way, if Skarner does go in and finish up his crop and try to gank bot lane, they'll see it coming a mile away.
Very good word there against extremely fast jungles such as Rammus, Nunu, Hecarim, Skarner to some degree, but those other ones a bit more. You want to place your wards deeper because if you place it in the shallow river bush there, by the time you see them, you're already going to get jumped on.
Yeah, and here we go. Hecarim's coming in fast, has Ghost moving on. Will be getting the dash, putting Lucian underneath the tower. Lucian knew he was about to die, so he went all in on that tech, was able to get Flygills, and was able to get the flash off the Nico as well. But, Kawaii Arrow still dies to IP slow.
I am expecting Hecarim to come back to mid lane very, very soon as he did burn the Lucian's flash. Now, as we've seen, this Lucian is very aggressive. He likes to use his E to dash in and do damage onto the Nico. So if Hecarim can catch Lucian lacking or sleeping with the E as he goes in, he should be able to get an easy kill there as Lucian is very, very squishy. So I'm anxious to see if he comes back.
I'm anxious to see as well. Right now, we are seeing a very even game right now. The only main difference is the 10 CS from mid lane, but, we were expecting Lucian to be that. We were just talking, he's really aggressive. We're expecting that. But other than that, the first kill on UCM side and the extra kill that they already have on does allow them to have a 600 gold lead at 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's even. 600 gold is actually pretty good at just about 6 minutes, as Flygills does get a snare there, but he does not toss his Q, and I do believe he ended up losing that trade as Lucian did more damage to him than he did back. But this should be a Drake going over to the side of UCM, or maybe not. Big time team fight coming in. Skarner going right in on the Kai'Sa, does get the stun, fighting over Dragon, and UCM is able to secure that one. Hecarim going in on the Skarner. Skarner is just absolutely going off, but they are able to get that one. Big time stun onto the Jinx, and that should be a dead Jinx. Lucian should be going down as he is in the pit. He does not want to be in there, and that is going to be Nami going away.
8-bit Hypocrite was not making the same mistake as last time. They will be still chasing this Nami. The flash coming out from the Malphite, the kill steal. Never mind, Malphite did happen to get the kill, so it wasn't a kill steal. Very close though. Almost wasted his flash. I will say though, he timed his teleport better this time. Last game, whenever he tried to teleport bot lane, he was kind of slow to it. Not particularly slow, but kind of slow. Wasn't able to do anything. This time, was able to get down there. Was able to make a difference in that team fight. I will say Pantheon got a little scared in that Drake fight. We had Hecarim and VTech just chilling in the Drake trying to do damage, and we see Vinscarl go in for the Skarner stun. And then after he used all his abilities, he's like, I'm just going to step away real quick. And then whenever he realized, like, oh, we got the Drake, he went right back in.
What it reminded me of is like, you're not trapped in here with me. Or I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. As UCM is able to take quite a few kills there. They are up above 1K now. So just from that one fight, they are up over 1K in the entirety of the game there. And this Kai'Sa is going absolutely berserk. She has a 300 G bounty, and she's 3-0-2. So she's doing very, very well. UCM is well on their way to winning this. They do have their win conditions set up. And they have that first Inferno Drake there. So they're going well.
I was going to say this Kai'Sa has a pickaxe over this Jinx. Mostly do. Oh, we do see the Malphite ult coming in. Was able to stun the Jax, and we see Hecarim coming in, getting the fear off. Once again, not really understanding how the fear mechanism worked. I felt like he should have went the other way, but I won't I'll just pretend like that didn't happen.
Hecarim looked like he came literally from I-70 completely to like St. Louis with that ultimate there. That was an amazing distance there. But UCM is going absolutely berserk, and as you can see there, this Hecarim is just putting so much pressure on the side of Pitt State, as it did the side of UCM last match, and this Hecarim could just be the key or the meta per se to this best of 3.
I would imagine that if we do go to a third game, most likely just going to ban Hecarim outright, especially if nobody picks him.
Oh my gosh, as Nami just absolutely melts there with the Pantheon stun into the Kaisa Q there. And as we were talking about before the game started, kill lane and the Kaisa's already fed. Nami just melted like sushi.
And Vincarl is doing exactly what he's supposed to do with Pantheon. Pantheon, it's pretty easy to actually steal kills, believe it or not, just because his Q can do extra damage once they're below a certain threshold. However, he has not stolen a single kill so far. Kaisa has 4, 0, and 2 right now. Pantheon has only 6 assists. So
only
really,
6 assists.
I mean, I say only, and it's because he hasn't taken a single kill, and that is very commendable on him.
Yeah, you want that. He has very high kill participation right here.
I mean, you see me playing Pantheon. I steal all your kills all the time.
He has a 75% kill participation, which is what you want to see from your support, and they aren't even level 6 yet, or at least Pantheon isn't. Once he hits level 6, he is able to roam there with that pseudo global ultimate to mid or bot if he wanted, or excuse me, to mid or top if he wanted to. So I'm anxious to see if he decides to roam, which I would, considering that his ADC is extremely fed and she can hold her own here. As Hecarim is coming in, Lucian is able to dash out of that one, and we have seen Lucian play a lot more safe since he did die under the tower that the first time there.
I mean, you know, you're Lucian. You do have the dash. You're able to escape, you know, the mid laner that you're facing. You can't really escape the mid laner and the jungler coming at 100 miles per hour. We do see this Malphite try to go in on this Jax. It looks like Skarner is going to flash in and ult him. He's going to be pulling him back. Malphite is able to get away. However, minion attacks, 3 minion attacks was all it took for the very low Malphite to eventually die. And, you know, we talked about earlier how much minion damage can do, and you don't expect it to take that much from them.
He also had the burn down there from Skarner, which is, I do believe, true damage. So unfortunate there, as he did burn his ultimate, but the ult is better than flash. He didn't have flash up, so he couldn't use that. He does die there, and he does not have the teleport advantage, so he is going to have to walk completely back to lane, and he is going to lose what look to be about 1.5 to 2 waves of minions there. So unfortunate there for Malphite, but hey.
And also 2 plates of the tower. Yeah, unfortunate.
Hurts.
However, we do have this Hecarim chilling with the Rift Herald right now. Literally can go to any lane. He is bot lane right now. Might be seeing if they can push this tower anymore. No, looks like bot lane's actually going to push back. We do see Drake coming up. This will be Mountain Drake. So that means Soul will either be Water or Air Drake.
And hopefully it is the Ocean Drake, as Air is considered the weakest of the Drakes there. Air, once you do get the soul, though, it gives you a bonus move percentage after you ult for like 8 seconds. So on some champs it can be good, such as Skarner. If Skarner ults and then gets the bonus move percentage, you're pretty much dead. Pantheon champs like that do benefit greatly from that soul, but it is going to be Ocean this time around.
And we did see Jinx, Nami, and Skarner in the bot jungle waiting to see what's going to happen with this Drake. However, since Jinx used her rocket to try and steal the Drake, it basically gave UCM like a clear sign that Skarner isn't going to be in this fight. So they're easily able to take the second Drake, and they're going to actually be dropping this Rift Herald onto the mid tower. We'll be losing 3 plates right away. Pantheon flashes in, is able to get the stun on Skarner. Will be trying to block the damage. However, Turret is tanking him down. Hecarim does jump in. Will be knocking out this Skarner from the battle, and it looks like Kaisa almost got bursted down. I think she's burning right now from Lucian's Ignite. Lucian eventually goes down, gets the shutdown. Flygills gets the shutdown on that Lucian, and Kaisa, sadly, VTech loses that fight. The Ignite was just ticking too fast.
One thing I will say about that fight is they got both kills. Okay, awesome. They did lose one, but the choice in who they decided to attack, maybe Lucian was just too far back, but choosing to attack Skarner there over the Lucian was a bit of a mistake. I will say that. Hopefully they choose a bit better next time, but they did come out in the top there with a 2-for-1 plus all the plates from that middle tower. And middle tower is the most important one, so with them having that one down, they do gain a lot more agency over the opponent's side of the map.
What's really sad, though, is that the person who died was the Kaisa, who had 5 kills, 3 assists with no deaths. I'm pretty sure she had a 500 gold bounty on her face, so sadly Lucian was able to get that.
As you can see here, the game is a bit more stagnant. The side of Pitt State, they have increased their amount of gold, or I guess decreased the difference in gold, as they are only down about 500 gold, which is incredible because UCM does have 10 kills. They have 2 Drakes. They just got 1 tower that had all the plates, and they're only up 500 gold.
Well, as of right now, UCM only has 6 turret plating gold based off of Pittsburgh's, let's see, 5, 7, 8, 9 turrets right now. So, you know, that's where they're getting their extra gold from.
Very interesting here. And I will say that UCM Jax is a bit of a menace when it comes to late game, as well as Jinx. I don't know if you've ever been against a level 16 full item Jax as an ADC or mid or whatever, but he is absolutely destructive. So I'm hoping that UCM pushes this lead that they have now before Jax can get to that about 30-minute mark, as Pantheon does go into mid, and this should be a dead Lucian as the Horsey is coming in, knocks Lucian around. There goes the Nico. Oh, Lucian is stunned down. There goes the Ignite, and there goes Lucian, and this could be a dead Skarner also. He tried to save his teammate, but ended up dying with him.
Now that was some very good coordination coming in from UCM. Right before, sadly, the camera changed. Hold on, I'll go right back to that. Hecarim will be jumping in. This Malphite just literally hitting this Jax down, just tanking him down. Hecarim and the rest of the squad pulls up, says, "What you doing? This is our neighborhood." They most likely will be taking this top turret. But going back to that last fight, that was some really great teamwork. Right before the camera moved, we saw Pantheon ult. And we're like, we don't know where he ulted to. He just disappeared from the map. He ulted right behind the Lucian, so that meant his escape was gone. He had to go upriver. And guess what? Hecarim's coming in. He just ghosted, literally rushing 100 miles in. And Nico was disguised. And obviously, they probably knew it was a Nico. But, you know, whenever she's disguised, they can't see the ultimate coming in and forming. So was able to get in. Sadly, wasn't able to hit the Skarner, but Lucian was caught, which is the main focus that you wanted anyways. So that was just wonderful teamwork overall from UCM's side.
And as we said during the draft phase, UCM has an amazing team fight comp. They have grouped. Those last 3 kills there were with all 5 players being there. So UCM decided to group, which they should, as PSU kind of has a split push comp here with this Jax. Jax is generally just split push top, push you down, or a nuisance. You can't 1v1 them. You have to send multiple players. So with UCM grouping up here, let's see if Pitt State has an answer, as the next Drake is going to be coming up here fairly soon, here in about 35 seconds. So we'll see if PSU decides to group up for that.
Definitely seems to be the case. And what I'm noticing this time around too is that UCM has a lot more wards on the field. I didn't say it physically in the last match, but around this time, Pittsburg State had roughly like a quarter more wards than UCM had, and right now it's relatively even. Our Pantheon support has been doing a really good job on his wards so far. Has 19, you know, while the other support only has 13. So a lot more control on that, and I think that allows a lot more team fights as well.
And this is looking like Pitt State is ready to just give up this Drake. Lucian isn't on his way. Actually, excuse me, Jax decides to come down. Both teleports coming out from the top. This might be Nico going back in. Nico does get pulled back in. She goes down immediately to the Skarner. Hecarim is getting pecked off on by the Jinx. He decides to run up, not able to do that, but Jax is getting pecked off on. Jax is very, very low. Can Kaisa take him out? There goes the Jax. Jinx is coming in, though. Big time rockets, and that is going to be a dead Kaisa and a dead Hecarim. Big time plays there from the side of Pitt State, and UCM may just get team wiped here. This could be an ace. Pantheon trying to do what he can, but there goes the ace to Pitt State.
Did you see that auto attack coming in from Jinx? That went that went over the wall. Jason, whoever that was, I think it was the Nico, literally over that wall. Was not expecting that auto to hit.
It was the Hecarim. So he autoed him, and then he used the zap. So the zap is what he ended up killing the Hecarim. But there was a very long rocket that came in right before the zap did.
Sadly though, and I talked about this last time, I did see a bit of split focus again. We saw, I don't know who they were chasing. They were chasing, 2 people were chasing somebody into the top jungle, or bot side jungle, while Pantheon, the Nico, and the Kaisa were fighting in the river. And, you know, whenever that happens, you can't really focus on somebody, and no one really dies, so your team ends up losing. However, the Pantheon ult does come in, is able to catch the Jinx off guard, is able to get the shutdown as well.
And this is what UCM needs to do. They have an amazing team fight comp, but with Pantheon, Pantheon and Malphite, excuse me, they also have pick potential. right? So the Pantheon goes in there, immediately goes down the Jinx, and this Lucian is absolutely going berserk. He does end up going down, but he makes it a 1-for-1 trade, unfortunately, for UCM. But like I said, the Pantheon being able to ult in and jump on either of the ADCs on the side of PSU should be a win condition here. If they see any of those players walking alone, jump on them immediately, as they do have the Kai'Sa ult, the Hecarim ult, Malphite ult, Pantheon ult.
Sadly, whenever IP Slow was chasing after this Illusion, he felt very confident because the rest of the team was coming up. If you're chasing Illusion, Hecarim's going to be able to get him. But Lucian was doing so much damage. We did see a Malphite ult come in to try and escape and was able to flash for flash the Skarner. Was barely able to survive. If he would not have flash for flash, that Skarner was most likely going to be ulting him into a big old fight.
Into oblivion. We would have seen Pebbles made out of Malphite.
Taking him to the Shadow Realm.
But he is able to escape, and that fight was very, very unfortunate, as the gold is now tied up and UCM's lead is completely gone. This is an even game here. Looking at the state of the game, Josh, who do you think has the advantage right now?
You know, I still think it's UCM. Even though the gold advantage is going up, I think the team fight potential is there for UCM. They just have to make sure. And like I said, that last fight that they lost shouldn't have happened. They just split their focus. Pantheon, I did see kind of back away, wasn't protecting the Kai'Sa probably as much as he should have been, and two people were kind of chasing into the jungle when they probably should have been staying river, or everybody had to go into the jungle instead of allowing, you know, the Jinx to just continuously do damage.
As the Jax is coming into all 5 of the members of UCM, and very, very big mistake there from the Jax. I'm not sure what happened, but going back to that dragon fight that they had not that long ago, also, I do want to point on the fact that Nico did die before the fight, which immediately made it a 4v5. That Nico ultimate is huge in what UCM wants to do with this team fighting comp. So with that being said, though, it is 4v5 in the favor of UCM here, and they can dive on this. With the Malphite and Hecarim, if they really wanted to, they could dive on one of those or both of those ADCs.
Now that you mention it, though, this gold difference is only, let's see, 800 right now, and it's actually insane because UCM got the Rift Herald, has an extra Drake on, and it also has 7 extra kills, but just so much turret plating was taken on the side of Pittsburg early on that I think really counteracted that.
Josh, now I want the Fishman, Nami, was walking right around that edge there, right in front of the Malphite. If Malphite would have ulted on that immediately and his team followed up, that would have been a dead Nami, and they would have had a 3v5 advantage and would have been able to take that tower there, or at least push the tower there. Most likely take it, as it is very low, but sad to see. But you have to capitalize on those mistakes, those
it's
one
just
pixel
so
mistakes.
Scary, though, because Skarner could just come in and be like, oh, Malphite ult, let me just snatch you real quick, make him go in the tower.
Best case scenario is him grabbing Malphite. Malphite, after he ults, is... what is he, right? Like, his ultimate is what you want. So if they do, if Skarner does decide to grab Malphite, I feel like that is the best case scenario there for UCM.
I see that you don't care about your teammates at all. You don't care if they lose a life.
As they do go in, Malphite goes in on the Jinx. Jinx gets pushed in. Guys, excuse me, everybody's just melting. The Jax goes down, and this should be a dead Lucian. Big time ult there from Hecarim, from Malphite onto the Jinx, and there is a triple kill going over to the Kai'Sa. Excuse me, that fight went extremely fast. I couldn't talk fast enough.
I mean, the main thing that you can take from that one is that UCM set a trap in that river bush, waiting for Baron. They obviously knew that Pittsburg was going to be like, I wonder where they are. Are they taking Baron right now? We can't allow them to take Baron. We're really even. And they had no wards in that river, so they had no idea that as soon as they walked up, they were literally going to get a 5-man ult.
Yeah, as you can see, being able to initiate on the opponent before they can initiate on you is one of the keys to success this season. Everybody talks about the damage creep and how quickly everybody melts, which I agree. You get melted extremely fast in this meta this season. So being able to initiate as they did on the opponent before the opponent can react is a key to success. And as you saw, their Jinx got instantly deleted.
And once again, and I said this earlier, we saw the Jinx rocket come in onto the Drake, which obviously made a clear sign to UCM that Skarner is nowhere near enough to be able to steal this Drake, allowing for the 3rd Drake to be taken over from UCM. One more, and they will be getting Water Soul.
Another thing I want to say is this Jax has been absolutely lackluster this game.
I mean, he was lackluster last game, too.
I feel like he has done nothing. I mean, he has 3 assists, of course, but he has done nothing notable for his team. He's not split pushing. Like, he still doesn't even have the top tower. He's not split pushing to great effect. He isn't doing well in the team fights. He has a 119 farm, but, I mean, Malphite does have 112, which that should be higher on both sides.
And he's 0-6.
Yeah.
And not with a lot of assists either. It's not like somebody stealing his skills. It's not a lot's going on top lane. 8-bit Hypocrite is just, as of right now, clearly outclassing.
As Hecarim does go in onto the Jinx, and like we said, Hecarim is coming in from I-70 onto the Jinx, and Ben Carl absolutely solos the Lucian. He's going 1v2, and Lucian goes down. There goes the snare onto Skarner, and this could be a dead Skarner as he does get pushed back by Hecarim, and that is probably going to be game going over to the side of UCM, but it looks like they're going to making a decision to either go for Baron or go for the inhibitor / tower, and they do choose to go after that tower.
Okay, and maybe you can answer this because I was really in focus talking about how bad this Jax was. Was Jinx not, like, was she kind of just standing there in the middle lane? Because that's what it kind of looked like to me at the very end.
No, she was there with Nami, and I think it just looked like that because the Hecarim is just so
fast. You know, as everything moves in slow motion for everybody else. I will admit my eye kind of just tracked at the last second, so you're probably right on that one. But that's what it looked like. I'm like, Jinx had nothing.
No, like I said, they have an excellent pick comp. Like, it's a team fight comp, but it's also an excellent pick comp. They decided to jump on that Jinx, and Jinx melted instantly. Like we said, this Hecarim has been big for both UCM and Pitt State. I do fully expect it to be banned next game. If it's not, it's a huge mistake from whichever team let it go through.
I mean, honestly, I would bet that each team is going to want the Hecarim, but whenever you get to the second ban from each team, they're both probably going to be thinking, oh, I don't want them to have the Hecarim. So I would imagine we see a ban more than anything.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to come out of whichever team is on red side. I do believe it'll most likely be UCM that is on that red side. So I do expect UCM to be banning this Hecarim if it does go into that third match. UCM has a stronghold on this game here. They are up about 6K here and are looking to finish. They have the Baron, and they should be able to, at minimum, make a push in bot or top to take these inhibitor towers. But they do still have the tier 3 on bottom.
Now let me ask you a question. How familiar are you with your Lucian mid lane?
I play him bot. I don't play him mid necessarily.
Do you see a lot of Gale Force Lucians? Normally I see Kraken Slayer. Because Kraken Slayer procs on his passive. Yeah, so, I mean, I can understand because the Hecarim's there, Gale Force allows for the extra dash, but it's not really saving him.
Yeah, I will say that I do think it should have been Kraken, considering that Pitt State is all AD for one, so the true damage would have been awesome. But two, they have Hecarim, and as Jax just gets absolutely melted there by the Hecarim / Malphite. But to continue my point, yeah, they have a Malphite and a Hecarim, which are very tanky. Gale Force doesn't do much against tank opponents. As Skarner goes in, tries to get the pull, but is not able to do that. There goes a Hecarim. Hecarim could go down here. He finds himself in a very bad position, but the horse does go down. It looked like he could have gotten away there, and they will be chasing here as Lucian is going in on the Malphite. Malphite is just tanking this away, decides to flash, and somebody may go split pushing there from both teams. Lucian is putting in the work, and if he had Kraken Slayer there, he may have just had the damage. As you can see, he is just pecking off on the Malphite, and Malphite is able to walk away from that. Kaisa looking to turn around and put in the damage. Pantheon here just tanking off this Skarner is going to go down. Pantheon came in there to try to help his teammates and end up being the one that paid.
But I think that's the right choice, because if not, if Pantheon wouldn't have gone in there, if Kaisa wouldn't have tried to step up there, Malphite obviously would have died there. And as of right now, I think Malphite's the better choice over support Pantheon.
And as we were just talking about, Pitt State has a complete AD comp. I feel like if they had at least an AP mid there that wasn't the Lucian, they would have been able to at least secure that Malphite kill. Or if maybe Lucian had the Kraken Slayer that would have provided the true damage, they would have been able to finish off that kill.
Because Lucian, we saw Lucian flash and we saw Lucian dash about 3 times. If he did use Gale Force, it was 1 time, and he obviously didn't need it because he was still catching up to the Malphite. Yeah, I definitely, and that's what I was talking about. I don't think a Gale Force was the right choice.
I don't either, and it looks like Pitt State may just get their first dragon here. They are having
already have
to
a Drake.
back off. Oh, excuse me. They do have a Drake. Their second, excuse me. Malphite here is just so tanky as he does go in on a Lucian, and that should be a dead Lucian. Lucian is able to flash away there. Hecarim in the back, and down goes the Jinx. This is going absolutely haywire here. This might be a dead Vincaro, and he does go down to the Nami, and down goes the Skarner to the rest of UCM's team, and that is a 1-for-3.
Hold on a
second. 1-for-4 trade. I had it right the first time, and the Fisherman might go down here and is able to get away with that hill. But there goes Ocean Soul over to the side of UCM.
Hecarim got a little over cheeky right there. He thought he could get the Nami, but Nami heal just barely came out clutch, allowing her to escape by a thread. I will say I really wish the camera would have stayed on VTech during that fight because Nico went in for the ult. Kaisa was behind the Nico. Pantheon ults into the jungle. Nobody's protecting this Kaisa. And immediately, thankfully the rocket missed. Immediately after Nico missed, everybody kind of jumped onto the Kaisa, and Kaisa literally was fighting a 2v1 in that situation. And in a normal scenario, should have died. But we have a 14-2-10 Kaisa that has a 700 bounty. She is procking out damage like no other.
I will say that I am kind of getting afraid of that Jinx there. That damage that she just put out on the Hecarim was massive, massive. So UCM does need to end this before the Jinx and the Jax can come online. Jax at this point, though, I do believe he's done for
out of
the
the
match.
fight.
He's not going to be coming online anytime soon. But that Jinx damage that we just saw was pretty big.
I mean, Jinx is, if we compare like the ADCs, and we're not talking about Lucian right now, Kaisa is the hyper carry for solo kill. Jinx is the hyper carry for team kill, especially with the Hurricane, which will be proccing 2 more autos at 40%, 60%.
I think 40.
One of those 2 percentages. And whenever you go crit, Kraken Slayer, it's just so much damage being brought out. And if Jinx gets a kill, she's going to be attacking even faster.
And this looks like UCM is making the push to end the game here. That Malphite just looks so menacing the way he walks. I would not want to be hit by that robot/metal monster there. And UCM is going to take it easy. They're going to push the top lane in here and allow mid lane to do its thing, as they do have the inhibitor there.
I was about to say, after they got that, they're going to push up the top lane. Baron comes up in 30 seconds. I'm assuming they're trying to see if they can get this tower, at least get this lane pushed in so they can get to this Baron before Pittsburg is able to stop them.
Now, if Pitt State decides they want to turtle her, they can. That Jinx has amazing wave clear, as we just saw. And UCM is going to go for this Baron here, and Pitt State has to fight it, because if UCM gets this, I do believe it's probably game over.
Now, like, who do you want to target, though? Do you want to target the Jinx or the Lucian? Because both are kind of like,
boom.
Oh, never mind. You go for everybody.
And the Malphite ult comes in, and down goes Jinx instantly, so fast you can't even cast it in. Here comes the Horseman, ready to attack this Lucian. And as we were talking about, Lucian just not able to pump out the damage that he needs to, and that is going to be game going over to UCM.
They did exactly what they did at roughly the 12-minute mark. They just hid, waited for him, cleared all the wards that it made Pittsburgh have to face check them, and this is a team you don't want to face check.
And UCM is going to take match 2 with a 34-14 kill difference there. UCM showing dominance over the side of Pitt State. That Hecarim there on a rampage, and we will be taking it to a commercial break before we get into the next match.
Culver's is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports. Welcome to Delicious.
I'm going on. When the lights go down, I've seen hell in you, but you don't care, no, you don't care, no, you just rather watch me From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. Oh, going fall into oblivion. Fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, I'm going on.
And we are back here in the third match point here between Pitt State and the University of Central Missouri. As we talked about, Josh, there is that Hecarim ban from the side of UCM.
I was actually surprised that they picked it first. I would imagine you would try to push it to the last one and see if, like, maybe Pittsburgh bans it, but, it's whatever. We do see the Kaisa ban, though, so that means that no more hypercarry, at least Kaisa-wise, coming in from UCM.
But there was no chance that Pitt State would have banned it because they have first pick. So UCM has to ban the Hecarim.
Maybe they made a mistake,
Has to ban the Hecarim. But we do see the Lulu band and the Vagar band coming out once more. Maybe that is a Flag Guild special there, and they are afraid of it. But there goes the Malphite band also.
I'm not too afraid of the Malphite. I mean, 8-Bit Hypocrite did wonderful on the Maokai if you really wanted to go that again. I didn't see any issues with that. We saw Jax twice top lane. I don't know if they choose a different top lane. I mean, he didn't do well both matches.
I would choose a different top lane, and I am opposite of you, actually. I think the Malphite band is a very, very good band because the engage that it gave UCM was just amazing. They were able to build their entire composition off of that engage there. But there goes the Jhin pick there from the side of UCM once more.
We do see Pittsburgh go with the Caitlyn, though. Normally we didn't get to see Caitlyn too much. We'll be doing a lot of headshots, a lot of traps. Wonderful Caitlyn will be placing loads of traps in wonderful places. We do see an Ornn pick coming in from UCM. I love Ornn. I think he isn't as strong as he used to be, though, right? He's a bit nerfed a little bit.
He used to be absolutely broken. The amount of damage, the amount of tankiness that he had was crazy. But they are going to put 8-Bit Hypocrite on the Ornn duty. And out comes a Nocturne, which Nocturne has actually come back into the meta because he got a buff on his ultimate there, and it has pushed him into the meta. He's very good, so he could either go mid or jungle there. So we'll see where that Nocturne ends up going after Pitt State makes their last two picks there.
It looks like IP Slow is going to be going Dr. Mundo jungle. We did talk about that, or you talked about how Dr. Mundo's been really nice into that jungle pick right now. So seeing if he can combat the Nocturne. I actually don't know if Nocturne would be able to burst down Dr. Mundo.
No, there's no way. Late game, there's no way that Nocturne can burst down a Mundo. And Mundo actually fills the role of the Hecarim very, very nicely. Kind of a pseudo Hecarim. He's very fast. He does slow. He doesn't have that big AoE ultimate, but he is extremely hard to kill. And out comes the Fizz and the Galio bands from each side, respectively.
Seems to be the case. We will be seeing VTech on the Jhin as well. We'll be seeing what the support pick will be. Will it be the Thresh again? Obviously, Thresh is not a bad choice into that support. Maybe a Leona since there's a Nautilus, but Thresh is really good against Nautilus. We'll be able to rend his hook attack.
And there goes that Darius ban. I know for a fact I've talked to 8-Bit Hypocrite before that he absolutely hates going against Darius.
I don't either.
Nobody really likes going against Darius, but I'm honestly wondering if they are banning that Darius just to put him in a position to be successful because I know for a fact that he really hates that champ, and I'm not quite sure if PSU, the PSU top laner plays Darius, which he might because he does play Jax, which is a basically a hyper carry top laner, and Darius can be that also. But the last ban from the side of PSU is that Swain.
And there goes that Leona, looks like. I was expecting that one more over than the Thresh. Leona will be a bit more tankier than the Thresh pick. Still has the same amount of CC, though.
I will say this UCM comp is looking absolutely disgusting. The amount of tankiness, the amount of CC, the amount of engage on the side of UCM is disgusting, and I do believe they are winning the draft phase right now.
I mean, we went from last game with the Malphite ult, with the either the Nico ult or the Pantheon ult. In this game, we're going to most likely be going from the Leona ult, stunning, slowing everybody down, into the Ornn ult. We'll be knocking everybody up.
This comp is absolutely massive, and I'm not quite sure if Anivia was the correct pick here. Anivia does burst damage, right? Unless you take the, what is it called? Excuse me, the Leandri's Torment. She doesn't really do DPS, and even with Leandri's, it's very low DPS. So I'm not quite sure if the Anivia was the correct pick against how many tanks UCM has.
We'll be seeing a Kled into the Ornn.
I'm not sure about that matchup, actually.
I'm not quite sure about it either.
Very rare matchup. I know that Kled does a lot of damage. Ornn is very tanky, so we'll see how that goes.
We will see how that goes. We will be going into a short little break, waiting for this match to start. So stick around.
Taylor Industries is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports, a family-owned and operated business.
Imagine opportunity. Got it? Good. Now pursue it. Choose the right college to cultivate it. Discover your passion, your talent. Now share it. Embrace it. Go global. Find support, network, build your team. Set a goal, work hard, achieve it. Be proud of yourself. Celebrate it. Discover UCM. Discover opportunity in.
What was your favorite toy when growing up?
Oh Lord. Webkins. I'm gonna have to go with Webkins.
Webkins?
Yeah, dude, I loved my Webkins.
All right. Webkins. All right. So how would you describe yourself to your friends?
A healthy mix of introverted and extroverted.
Healthy
Yeah.
mix there?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you do if you were invisible for a day?
Play games. Still, that's what I always do. Yeah.
Play video
I ain't got nothing I would need to do with invisibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about one of your grandparents?
Just like how like nice they are to be around. It's like I go out and like visit them both a lot, and one set of my grandparents lives a good deal away, so like driving out and just being with them, like just their company.
I'm going on. When the lights go down, I've seen hell in you, but you don't care, no, you don't care, no. You just rather watch me fall from a golden mile. I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion. stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. Now you wanna see me fall. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it up, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. I'm going in. Fall into oblivion. Fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. I'm going in.
Hello and welcome. We are here to the third and final match of the meta tournament here between University of Central Missouri and Pitt State. We did see a very dominant performance coming out of UCM last match, and we are expecting or hoping at least to see the same here, as it looks like PSU wants to do a little bit of a cheeky invade here.
Seems to be the case. I don't think they liked UCM doing their cheeky little top jungle chase in, so they're going to be going in from mid to bot. It's my iconic move to go at any time. Even if I play ADC, I go mid to the mid river bush. But it looks like UCM is doing a reverse invade. We'll be going bot side jungle. We might see a little trade.
I think they're going to meet in the, because generally the blue team here goes back towards the Raptors, so I do believe that they're actually going to meet here in the jungle or in the river, so we will see here.
It looks like Pittsburg is actually taking their sweet time back, so Oran's going to be backing right beforehand. There's a deep ward in both jungles right now. We'll see.
They are going to fight.
UCM does find it first. We'll be getting the surprise attack off of them. We'll be finding this Nocturne. Hopefully first blood goes to Ari.
Nocturne does go down as he does face checking a big time Q there from Anivia, but the side of Pitt State does have to run, as it was a 3v4, and UCM off to a great start once more. Ari is able to secure that kill, and UCM up 0-1 once more.
And, you know, there is a deep ward in UCM, so they're going to know that Dr. Mundo will be going the blue. But right now, it is UCM's win jungle side as well, because Nocturne is just now getting to his Raptors right now. Mundo was easily able to start his blue buff right beforehand, so we should be seeing an earlier clear coming in from UCM.
And that is super unfortunate for Nocturne, as he was not able to get a leash there from his bot lane. So he is behind. He doesn't even have his red buff. He had to start Raptors first and is just now moving into his red buff. And UCM does know he is there, as they do have a ward there. So big time mishap from the side of PSU. And Leona looks to go in, but does whiff her Q.
I can imagine that we're going to see Dr. Mundo go for his wolves like he is right now, go to red buff and see if he can maybe get a gank top lane, because he most likely knows, unless Nocturne goes straight to top lane, that he should get there first.
Yeah, and he could if he wanted to, he could skip his Raptors, could skip his red, and go straight into Nocturne's jungle and meet him at his blue. If he did happen to meet him at his blue, he should be able to secure that kill. But it looks like Nocturne is moving up towards Mundo's Raptors to either take those or place a ward. We'll see here as he is moving to Mundo's red buff, actually. So they should be able to meet there in incoming clash.
Nocturne does not have a ward, though. It is on cooldown. However, spots the Dr. Mundo right beforehand. Both smites going onto this red buff, and it looks like Dr. Mundo had a smite first, so that meant that the advantage was going to be going over to XCY Beast. Ari is a little bit too late on the rotation. However, Ornn is coming in, and Ari is coming back around the corner.
Nocturne has flash.
Nocturne does get the flash off. Anivia does wall them off, though. The charm comes in from Ari, able to get a cheeky damage in, but I'm not expecting anything else. Oh, maybe not.
Ari doesn't have Ignite either. This could be a dead Ari. Off goes the Ignite on the Anivia, throwing the autos and not able to get that. Ornn is on to the Nocturne and has to flash to get that as he was flared. And Ornn now has double buffs and looks to still be chasing that Anivia. If they can at least get the egg, that will be a win for them. But Anivia is able to make it away there.
Do you know how long that not only mid laner, top laner, and jungler was in that red buff area? Enough time for Dr. Mundo to die, respawn, and come back to the fight.
And it was very unfortunate there for Mundo, as Nocturne does do, or at least early, does do more damage to Mundo, and he had his red buff there, but this should be a dead Caitlyn. Caitlyn does get snared and grabbed onto by the Leona, and there goes flashes onto the Caitlyn, and this is going to be a dead Nautilus also. And UCM off to a great start, up by 1.2k.
That was everything possibly could have done right in that fight. Dr. Mundo was able to get the stun on the Caitlyn. Caitlyn, not fearing that she was going to die, Jen says, hold on. Stun, gets it off. She's starting to freak out because Leona's coming in now, tries to flash and heal, but Leona gets the stun off right beforehand, stops her in her tracks. Dr. Mundo was able to get another slow, which meant Leona was able to get another stun off. Just a great combo attack from UCM.
Yeah, one of the things about Leona is if you flash late, as long as the Q connects, she will follow you. And that means Tristana jump, that is any dash, Leona will follow you if that Q connects. So she was able to kind of slither her way into Caitlyn and use that Q I believe it's her W, whichever one is the shield bash. And this looks to be a air Drake going over to the side of UCM.
Seems to be the case. The only one who seems to probably know is the Nautilus, gets a placed ward down there. However, Nocturne is at his wolves right now, and Nivea's in mid lane. Unless the ADC and support from Pittsburg wanted to go in for that, which they weren't. Very easy Drake going over to UCM.
And I feel so bad for this Kled. Although he is doing very, very well, I feel like 8-Bit Hypocrite should have been pushing these buffs that he has a bit more, as red buff and blue buff this early in the game. Double buffs on a laner is massive, so he didn't get much out of that, or as much as I believe he could have gotten out of that.
Seems to be the case. They are both gone, though, so that will be a regular fight going on right now. Able to get the grasp of the Undying and the dash attack. Kled was able to get his his mounted steed back. Skarl, thank you. But sadly, it does not come in time, and as 8-Bit Hypocrite was able to end is naughty.
As you can see there, though, he got the kill, yes, but he could have done that 30 seconds earlier when he had the buffs, and it would have been a lot more smoothly. But nonetheless, he does get that kill there, and I'm glad, because I am of the ilk that I absolutely hate Skarl and Kled. They are a very, very annoying combo, especially their ability to tower dive, because once he loses Skarl, the tower stops attacking him, and it's very, very annoying.
Yeah, it's very easy to try and bait the enemy in, either underneath his tower or underneath an enemy tower. It doesn't really matter what it is. If Skarl is cleared to go, he can just go in and he's like starts to get reckless, starts to just get hits off of hits, and just barely survives.
As you can see here, UCM playing very, very safely. They do not know where Nocturne is. They did go and ward that, and they are playing very far back. Once they do have vision on Nocturne, they can go ahead and break this freeze that Caitlyn and Nautilus have down here. And Anivia looks to have her ultimate now and is able, or going to be able, to push that Ari back into her tower if she wants to.
Now that I'm looking at the scoreboard and the items and everything, I'm noticing the Kled also hasn't placed a single ward down. As soon as I said that, he placed them down. So scratch that, never mind. But I mean, 7 minutes in, I feel like you should have placed a ward by now.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things to know about League of Legends is the more vision you have, the more or the better percentage chance you have of winning the game. So placing those wards there do come in handy, and UCM is in a commanding lead here as they are up by about 1.4K. So looking good for them as Anivia is trying to protect his red, but that surely should go down. Mundo taking a lot of damage here. Did not expect that. And Jin has to burn his flash. In comes the Nocturne ult. Big time mistakes coming out of UCM, and this is for sure a dead Jin as he does get his flash off. Anivia wall might be coming in. She's out of mana. Big time Q coming out, but cannot get the finish. Unfortunate there for UCM as Nocturne is deciding to chase the Ahri, and Ahri has to burn her flash.
I think you mean unfortunate for Pittsburg. Jin should have died there, no matter what. So luckily, Ahri Flygill's coming in with the clutch charm. I mean, Anivia was still able to get the stun off, but the charm was just long enough to save the day. However, 8-bit Hypocrite tries to go in for the ult, misses it, will be dashing into the wall to knock up is Naughty. Seeing him even get the breath attack on, smashes his head with the hammer in his fist, and is able to end is Naughty's life. That's another kill going over to 8-bit Hypocrite.
Ornn's damage and tankiness is just unreal. On top of that, he has the Bramble Vest, which procs grievous wounds and does damage, magic damage back to Skarner and Kled when they do attack him. So he was able to win that 1v1. And one thing I want to say is Anivia's Q does 2 ticks of damage. If it goes through an opponent, it does damage, and then you can re-click the Q ability to make it do more damage. On that Jin there, it only hit the pop damage. If it would have hit the pass-through damage and the pop damage, I do believe that would have been a dead Jin. So unfortunate there for that Anivia.
Seems to definitely be the case. We will be seeing 8-bit Hypocrite and IP Slow going in for this Rift Herald. Top lane has really strong dominance right now. Nocturne we see is mid lane, though. Ahri does get the charm off, but barely escapes with her life.
She gets back to her team, though. Here comes the Ornn, and they are scared of Big Daddy Ornn. Ornn putting in the work, but does get bursted down. That Nocturne damage was nasty. Flash comes out from the Mundo. IP Slow really wanted that kill, and down goes the Nocturne.
Really sad to see the Ornn go down. He did have a little bit of a shutdown gold there that Nocturne was able to get. Nocturne, not the scariest person to have the shutdown gold with because, I mean, he doesn't become that powerful later on. He's just really good for that, global, semi-global ultimate.
As Vincaro flashes and misses the Q, reminiscent of when he played Thresh and missed his Q. Unfortunate there for him, but he is trying to make those plays and actually steps on 2 Caitlyn ults and is at about 50% HP.
Now, I was about to say that might have been a a little bit early of a Rift Herald. However, Drake is up right now, and they are deciding that Drake is more important than getting these tower plates right now. And Anivia is trying to go see and see if he can stop this Infernal Drake from happening. However, UCM will be gaining it just in time.
No, is this going to be a third Ocean Soul? As Leona does go down, in comes Nocturne ult. Mundo banging in there, just not enough. Too many players there for the Mundo to handle, and down goes Declared once more. Unfortunate. And Josh, that is a third Ocean Soul. That is all we have seen throughout this series here.
I mean, UCM is probably extremely happy. Ornn and Dr. Mundo especially will gladly appreciate the health regen. They already have, I mean, Dr. Mundo gets so much health regen in the first place, and that's just even more. So if they thought they had to buy Grievous Wounds or some, the
Executioner's Poem.
yes, if they thought that they maybe had to do it because of the Dr. Mundo, they definitely have to do it now.
They will for sure have to buy that as Ornn and specifically Mundo become almost unkillable, like demigods basically, when you do have that healing coming in. I believe it's like 50 a second healing coming in from that Ocean Soul. So uphill battle there if they do allow UCM to get the Ocean Soul. But I will say if they are able to secure 4 Ocean Drakes on the side of Pitt State plus the Soul, that is even more healing. And a lot of people say that having 4 of one dragon is the more optimal route to go rather than having 2 other dragons and then 2 of another dragon. Ahri gets off a lot of damage there, and she just may go down. Red buff and Ignite tick off on Ahri. But here comes the Mundo. Might be able to egg Anivia. Not able to get it there, but he does eventually get it, and that should be
Nocturne's
a dead
coming in
Anivia.
hot, though.
Down goes Anivia. Nocturne might be able to get to kill her, but there is that Mundo healing. He's not going to be able to make it to the tower. Yes, he is, as he lives with a sliver of HP, and this could be a dead Nocturne. No, it is a dead Nocturne. Here comes Big Daddy Ornn to finish off the kill.
It's he saw, do I want to get killed by Ornn with the hammer, or do I want to get killed by Leona with a 4th shot Jin? I guess I'll take the Ornn route.
I would have tried to die to Leona, but that's just me. They probably would have gave it over to that Jhin there if they had the choice. But either way, that is a kill, and UCM is up 3 kills to the side of PSU.
IP slow is really scaring me with this Dr. Mundo. I understand Dr. Mundo has a lot of healing regen, but sometimes he gets in that fight and he doesn't turn off like that flame that surrounds him that ticks his own health. And whenever, especially when he got underneath tower, Nocturne's still chasing him and his health is literally like 1%. I'm like, just turn it off, just run. What are you doing?
He does live there, so good job on him knowing calculated. Let's just say he calculated the damage.
It worked out. He survived.
And it worked. And Ari takes a lot of damage there. If she did not ult, she would have died. And I'm proud of Flygills here. He is down in CS, but he is playing very safe, making sure that he isn't a hindrance to his team, but is able to just keep up and make sure that he is doing something useful here.
That is the biggest thing. I mean, we saw, Jack's not doing so well for Pittsburg University, but the main difference is that he kept on dying.
Yep.
So not only was he useful to his team, he was being counter useful because UCM was getting a lot of gold, a lot of XP off of it. We are seeing, Flygills not exactly dominating in lane, however, only died once, and that's to be expected. Nothing to be that worried about. CS is a little bit down, but not by a lot, so, still very much in this game.
Yeah, I will say one thing that I struggle with, because I am a carry player mid and ADC, is sometimes in a game you have to know that you just have to get carried, right? You just have to not be a hindrance to your team. You have to carry, and this could be a dead Flygills, and that should be, as the charm does hit, does delay the death just a bit, but Flygills does go down. As we were just talking about it, we may have Caster cursed right Flygills there, but hopefully he comes back stronger.
Hopefully he does. We do have Water Drake coming up in 1 minute. However, the ultimate coming in from Ornn is enough to stop Anivia.
Ornn is absolutely going off. He shouldn't die here. He is very, very tanky, and this is probably a dead Nocturne as they are going to tower dive. Both of these guys have been in the gym. Do you even lift, bro? No, you do not. Down goes Nocturne.
I mean, Dr. Mundo even ulted not only to get the extra speed, but to get the healing regen in case he had to turret dive. And guess what? Ornn was the one who took it, and he was still completely fine. It's just two big guys coming up to you, just smacking you around, grabbing you by the neck. Just whack, 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 whack.
As Mundo is in that gym skin there, so he actually does have some voice lines talking about Mundo, blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, Skarl and Kled. Why do I keep calling him that?
Because
Kled,
we had a Skarner match already.
Kled is his name, is up here trying to put in his work. And sad to say, though, the top lane for Pitt State has been the weak point, unfortunately. He has not been able to perform to the level that I'm sure he wants to perform.
That definitely seems to be the case. However, this Water Drake is back up. Will UCM capture this third Drake, or could they possibly take it and then almost, get team wiped again? Because that's what happened with the last Infernal Drake. We do see an ultimate coming in from Kled, though.
Kled is ulting in, is able to get into that back lane, is on the Ari. If he can get off the hits, he should have been able to finish her off. No, he was charmed, and that is so unfortunate for him. But the Nautilus O is on the Ari, does not finish off the Ari, and as you can see, that Mundo is just so tanky there. Caitlyn not able to put out the damage. Nautilus trying to keep them off of his ADC, but isn't able to do it, and down goes PSU.
The only one that went down was 8-Bit Hypocrite. I honestly thought Flygills was going to, but was able to survive by the grit of his teeth. The only one alive is Anivia. Anivia can do a lot of damage to these weak teams right now, but I think this is clearly UCM's Water Drake right now.
Especially in that pit. Anivia excels in small areas, as the ultimate in wall is a devastating combo. But like I said, Kled was on the Ari, but Ari charmed him and then flashed away. That is one of the annoying things about Ari, is if you get on her, it's damn near impossible to miss her charm. So if you hit that charm, you are charmed for, I believe, 1.5 to 2 seconds. I can't quite remember. Where you can't do anything. You just walk towards her. So unfortunate there for the Kled, as he could have had a kill there.
Did you see the Leona animation on the Caitlyn, though, during that fight?
I did not.
Caitlyn went and did her, net attack, which pushes her back like a couple feet, and Leona was able to get a max Q reach on, and so, but since she went back, Leona basically moved like 7 feet across the screen, really looked like an extra long charge, and was able to get the stun off, allowing, the ADC to be taken out pretty fast.
Along those lines, one of my favorite animations also is when you get a max range plus more a Moo Moo Q. where he just like bandage tosses like across the map here. But 8-Bit Hypocrite is looking to go in on his Nocturne, and he is level 12 to 9, so he might be able to get that. As we do switch over here, Leona is taking a lot of damage, and this is going to be a dead Leona. Anivia is absolutely going berserk there as Kled is trying to go 3-on-1, and he's not going to make it out of that. I am sorry, bro, but you do not lift, and Mundo does, and down goes that Kled.
Two separate fights going on across the map, but UCM comes out on top. The only person that UCM lost was the support, and that's the person you would rather die no matter what. You know, Pittsburg lost their top lane and their jungler. While their top lane is kind of as useful as the support right now, the jungler is really important, especially with the Rift rolled up. It's going to be an easy take for UCM.
I will say that I do play Anivia, and Anivia late game is a menace to deal with. And this Anivia is 6-2-2, and she did go Leandri's Torment, so she is going to be able to do some percentage health damage, onto these two tanks, and she can carry a game. She has clear if you need the turtle. She has burst damage. She has her DPS with her ultimate and the Leandri's Torment now. So UCM is going to have to deal with this problem. That is the Anivia. She does have 144 armor too, the most in the match.
I think if Pittsburgh really wants to try and contest this match even further, this Nautilus really needs to focus on protecting the Anivia rather than the Caitlyn. Anivia is level 13 right now, which is one level higher than anybody else on the UCM team, and like 2 levels higher than the top laner on their own team.
Yeah, she is definitely ramping up. It looks like she is going to be buying the, I believe it's called Seraph's Embrace, I believe it is now, with that tier in that needlessly large ride there. So she is doing very, very well here. She has her egg up, and she is the win condition for, and I believe she's the only win condition for PSU at the moment. So Nivea trying to put the entire team on her back there.
Seems to definitely be the case. UCM will be letting go of that Rift Herald, will be getting the charge off, getting that first mid tower. They're going to see if they can get a second charge off, but Nivea ultimate and the rest of the squad is able to stop from any more damage coming onto that second turret.
One thing I will say, Josh, here is Caitlyn definitely made a mistake with her mythic choice here. She does pick Gale Force. Now, Gale Force generally is what you pick on the Caitlyn. Hold that thought as UCM does decide to engage onto PSU, but they're not able to take out the Anivia. Anivia still running away, exhausted, able to get away. She does end up in her egg, and that is so unfortunate because that should be the team fight going over to UCM. Sexy Beast down here getting pounded away by Jin. There goes the big-time knockup by the Ornn, and Pitt State is actually putting up an amazing fight for how that actually started, and Josh, Pitt State put in some work there.
I think, and I'm not 100% sure, I think Anivia got hit by one of Dr. Mundo's attack, and the burn from the red buff was able to proc her egg from going off, which kind of stalled Pittsburgh from getting out of there alive.
That fight would have gone very differently if Anivia didn't get egged there. UCM was in a very, very close quarters. If Anivia would have thrown up a wall plus an ultimate to where nobody could get past the wall, that would have been very, very nasty for UCM. But to the thought that I was talking about before that fight, I feel like Kraken would have been a better choice on the Caitlyn. Granted, she doesn't attack as fast as some ADCs, but with her build now, she's not going to be able to chop through the Leona, the Ornn, and the Mundo.
I mean, and here's the deal, too, is that with all the CC coming out from UCM side, what's Gale Force going to do? Block one of the CC attempts?
As you do see there, Leona does go in on the Nocturne over the wall, and that is another initiation there from UCM. And UCM has a great strategy going here. They are engaging before the opposite team can, and it has worked wonders for them this match and last match.
And UCM will be getting the Water Soul, which is at 21 minutes 40 seconds. That is almost as fast as you can get it. The fastest you can do it is 20 minutes if you really played your cards right. Maybe like a little bit after 20 because it has to spawn and everything. But 21 minutes 40 seconds is very fast.
With that Ocean Soul, as you can see, Mundo there with the Ocean Soul is just regenerating 24 HP. I believe that was 0.5 every 0.5 seconds. So around like 48 HP per 1 second. That is unreal. And that combined with his already natural healing and tankiness makes him pretty much unkillable. I doubt he will die again this match.
I would say it's safe to say that with this passive, he's probably healing roughly 10 HP a second anyways. Then with Water Drake, we'll be adding another percentage onto that. And then his ultimate will give him like 60% of his max health back, which is insane. He with the water slow, he's basically getting a second passive.
Yeah, I honestly, he'd have to make a pretty big mistake again or to die again in this match, as he is very, very tanky here. But we shall see, as UCM does have a grip on this game here, and they do look to be at least setting up vision around the dragon there, or excuse me, around the Baron, and we'll see what happens next. The game is kind of stagnant at this point.
Seems to be the case. The only thing up right now, objective-wise, is the Baron, but, you know, no teams probably want to fight that right now. 23 minutes. UCM doesn't have, like, DPS to really do it. Jhin does, you know, a lot of damage, but it's slow damage. Ahri, not really.
There goes the Mundo ult. In comes the Jhin snare. Mundo throwing those cleavers. Big time damage there. And I don't believe he's going to be able to get away from this Mundo. Those cleavers are just pecking away at him as Mundo is chopping him up. Big time little dasher through the wall. Very, very cheeky, but sadly it is not enough. Clearly he does not lift as much as Mundo. And UCM with another pick.
Yeah, it looks like he was just literally half a second away from getting Skarl again. But even if he would have gotten it, probably would have died anyways. There was Dr. Mundo, and then we had, I believe, the Ornn coming in right behind him. With that pick from top lane, they will be attempting this Baron call, and it looks like nobody from Pittsburgh wants to even attempt to try and contest them.
Yeah, there's no way. This game, I do believe, is over, but nonetheless, we do have to play it out. I will say that this the top lane here for PSU Izanagi, which I believe is a play on Izanagi from Naruto. I do not know, but that's what it kind of sounds like. Has been rather lackluster here in this match and overall in the series.
Yeah, I feel like if there's one common denominator for why Pittsburgh has been lost their last match in this one, it's definitely a really big top lane gap, which then snowballs into other lanes.
So maybe he is a Darius main. Maybe he is a Darius one trick, and that is why UCM has been banning him, allowing them to effectively make the match 4v5 or 6v4.
Winning in the drafting phase, you know.
Yeah. So done their homework and are coming out well. But the thing I will say is that if you're not fragging on champs that are supposed to be fragging, just grab a tank, just grab a Maokai, just grab something to where you can just be useful rather than a hindrance to your team, you know?
Seems to be the case. And I mean, you know, with Kled, you really have to be on your game.
Yep.
It's weird. I've played Kled a couple times, and sometimes you can feel strong early on, and then you can kind of feel useless later on if you're not playing him right. He's a very technical type champion, in my opinion. Not like ability-wise, but just trying to survive in a fight.
Yeah, he's very hit or miss. If you don't do well, you're going to do very, very badly. If you do well, you're going to do very, very well. So there's no middle ground with Carl. So I combined Skarl and Kled into Carl. Oh, man, excuse me here. As UCM is making this Baron push here, they are playing very well. But like I said, Anivia does have great, great clear. So they could have a bit of trouble trying to break into this base.
Yeah, and it looks like UCM is actually going to roughly all stay in the mid right now, trying to push this forward. Do you think they should be, you know, going to all the lanes right now, especially since they have a huge lead, or do you think they are making the right choice and kind of sticking together?
Honestly, a 1-3-1 wouldn't be bad. Sending Ornn or Mundo to top and bottom and then keeping Jhin, Leona, and Ahri in mid would not be bad, especially with this this Baron buff that they have, because Leona's tanky. She can protect the... As we get into a big fight there, Leona is going to go down. She is getting pounded on by 4 members there. And this is a great engage, but this is the thing about a 1-3-1. If they decide to engage as 5, you will be getting hurt. And as you can see, Mundo is just absolutely tanking there as he took at least 6 or 7 seconds to die to 4 members on the side of Pitt State. And that's what we were talking about with the Ocean Soul, with his natural tankiness and healing. He is basically a demigod.
I think what need to happen there is Ahri need to be in that fight, because Pittsburgh was able to notice, they're like, okay, we see Ornn at top lane right now trying to push in the wave like we just talked about. We see 3 people here. We don't know where the Ahri is. Let's go on this attack. They have Baron. This is honestly our best chance right now. We have all 5 here. That was a great choice made by Pittsburgh. But yeah, that I mean, we talked about how good Mundo's going to be in surviving. He literally was stuck in between the jungle bush into the Raptors. He was literally stuck in that small area for 8 seconds, just like his health bar literally just moving left and right, left and right, left and right, it just barely even ticking, even though everybody was pummeling on him.
Yeah, going absolutely beast mode, and that is because a Vayne would have been really, really nice here for the side of Pitt State. As you do see, though, this is a red buff going over to Jhin.
I mean, look at this. You know, we talked about how you thought you had to buy executioners with Dr. Mundo, especially with Water Drake. The only person who has healing reduction is the Anivia, and she just bought that. I literally just saw her buy it. Nobody else has healing reduction. Wait, Caitlyn has Dominic's Revenge, so never mind. I believe that does healing
Dominic's
reduction.
Regard.
Yes.
I don't quite remember, but I don't think it does.
It doesn't anymore?
I don't think
one,
it
one
does,
of them,
but
one of them does.
Needless to say, we are into the fight here, and UCM is wiping them. Anivia trying to do what she can, but she cannot do it all. Caitlyn and Anivia on the run. This Mundo is just too big time. This is why I say Mundo is top tier. There is nothing you can do. He will chase you down with cleavers. He will smack you with that cleaver and burn you away. And there goes Nivea stuck between a wall and the Mundo. There's nothing she can do. She has to go down, and that will be an ace to the side of UCM.
I mean, you literally saw her give up. She got into that bush and said, I guess I'll die here. This looks like a good place. And just like that, UCM will be getting a team wipe into an Elder Drake. This is the chance for UCM to try and maybe finish the game now. Since everybody's down, they will most likely be able to get the first base turret and inhibitor. And with Elder Drake, probably just
this
team
is the
wipe.
game. I think this is probably the game. This is probably going to be the final push here for UCM. I mean, Pitt State just doesn't have the damage to deal with the Mundo, Leona, and the Ornn. Once they allowed them to get the Ocean Soul also, that was pretty much game over. Mundo, like I said, I believe he's top tier. He's an absolute menace to deal with unless you have, honestly, the only champ I feel like can deal with the Mundo is like a Vayne.
That seems to be the case.
Mundo, once he gets going, I don't think there's a champ in the game that can really deal with him effectively.
Maybe a Nasus, like late game, because he also has the capabilities to, get that lifesteal and slow to maybe stop the Dr. Mundo. But I mean, even that is, and that's why you need a whole team to stop Dr. Mundo. Yeah. Either that, or you need everybody to buy some sort of healing reduction. No,
and even then,
the Nivea shouldn't be the only one with healing reduction.
I mean, he has 12 kills and 12 assists, so he has 24 total kill participation there of the 29. So he's an absolute menace and definitely carrying this match.
It looks like what UCM is doing, instead of trying to end the game right away, they're actually going to hold on to this Elder Drake and ward up into Baron Pit. Baron will be popping up literally right this second. So if, Pittsburgh has to try and stop this. If they get this Baron push with Elder Drake, it is actually game over.
I mean, they can try, but with Elder also, the game's pretty much over. There's nothing that Pitt State can do. If they fight it, they will die to the Elder Dragon. If they don't, they're going to die because UCM has Baron and is moving into their base. So kind of a damned if you do,
so
damned
maybe
if you don't,
they were to try to do like a Baron steal with the Nocturne, but there's no ward on it, so you can't do that.
I mean, on top of that, Nocturne is level 13 to Mundo's 15. So Nocturne Smite is considerably weaker than Mundo's, so he would have went in for the Baron Smite, would have lost it, and then died, and it would have 100% been over more than it already is. And there is the Nocturne getting chased down by the Mundo, and he's probably still going to go down if Mundo really wanted to go for it, but this should be the final push here. Oh, man. Holy cow, as the Orno does hit two members of PSU, and they are going in on that Nautilus there. Nautilus should go down, as he does eventually go down. This is the final push coming out from UCM. Out comes the Nocturne, but to no avail, does not decide to go in, and there is nothing that PSU can do. Nocturne finally uses that. Anivia trying to do what she can. She actually is putting out quite a bit of damage, and that should be a dead Ornn there. And that was big-time damage from Anivia, but she just cannot do it all herself. And down goes the Caitlyn, down goes Caro, and that should be the game going over to UCM and the series.
Only one to survive is the Anivia, but with no turrets left available, Nexus open, that will be the game. UCM will be winning this matchup, Trey.
In the series, and first win of the tournament. And I believe a year ago, they might have had one tournament win or one tournament match win or series win.
I think so. And this is their first game into this tournament. And it's roughly the same people. The only new person is VTech. Yep. So it's great to see, during this year break that we've had from League of Legends, that they seem to pull something together.
Yeah, that plug-and-play player there, as he did have 10 kills and 1 death, so he definitely put in the work that he needed to put in there. And UCM coming out strong here. They looked very, very good. Once they got into the groove and started picking their initiation champs and their tanky champs and things like that, team fighting champs, they put in the work.
And it only took them one game, and literally that the first game that happened was, I mean, it was kind of lost in draft. I think so. They had too many tanks, not enough DPS. The second game, they actually had the team fight. Third game, the team fight lost a little bit. However, the composition was still there, and they were able to pick the right champions to actually cause a mean fight throughout the game.
Yeah, and that Hecarim kind of became the story of this series here. Whoever had Hecarim won their respective matches, and UCM was forced to ban that because PSU did have first pick. So that Hecarim pick was big time for either team if they had that, and became kind of the story of the match.
Yeah, and I mean, once Hecarim's gone, UCM still comes out on top.
Plug in Mundo there. But with that being said, guys, we're going to go to a short commercial break, and then we will be ending the stream. So thank you guys for coming. Hopefully we will see you on the next one.
Culver's is a proud sponsor of UCM Esports. Welcome to Delicious.
Hello and welcome to the Taylor Industries post show. And Josh, we had quite a doozy there. The series went to 3 matches. Pitt State put up quite a fight, but in the end, UCM was victorious.
That seems to be the case. We went over to the first game, and like I said, I think Pittsburgh had the right idea. They had the right team comp. They had the Hecarim pick on the first one, and their composition just seemed to be really aggressive into UCM's very tanky build. And in this meta where everybody gets bursted down really fast, UCM didn't really have a good chance to do any damage that first game. However, we go into the second game. Jungler switches roles. We have Hecarim on UCM's side, Skarner on the other. Hecarim just really seemed to be the showcasing jungler this time around, being the menace. Whoever had the Wild Stallion ended up winning. UCM also had a better team composition that time. We had the Malphite, we had the Pantheon, We had the Nico.
The Kaisa also.
Kaisa for the hyper carry as well, which is just a huge combo to go into. And then we had the third game. You know, both teams ban out Hecarim. So it's a wild card now. We don't know what's going to happen. We have the top laner change from the Jax into the Kled. We have an Anivia pop out, which you kept on saying they don't have any AP.
Yeah.
You know, they're all AD. So they
matches.
kind of took a piece out of your book, took the Anivia, and then Anivia was doing some massive damage.
Yeah.
But sadly, or not sadly, because we're on Team UCM, UCM was able to really carry it out. Their team fight wasn't as strong, but the Dr. Mundo pick was really strong.
Yeah. Their tankiness, basically. With the Caitlyn pick, Caitlyn doesn't necessarily excel into tanks. She does damage. She's not an extremely quick auto attacker such as a Vayne or a Jinx, but she does auto. But into tanks, it doesn't work. And with the Leona, the Mundo, the Ornn on top of the Ocean Soul, Pitt State just didn't have the damage to pull that one out. So UCM was able to take it there. But very strong showing here from UCM. If they can continue this and kind of find their groove and stick with these team fighting comps and things like that, they should be able to put in some damage in this tournament. That was very, very nice. And I'm excited to see what they can do because this team already looks considerably better than what was put together last semester.
Definitely seems to be the case. Is that just, you know, we got the new ADC. Is he a real big, you know, brought the team together? Or is it just, you know, that year break, you know, you honed your skills, you're playing more on that competitive day after day instead of just kind of throwing yourself in like casual matches, and so you just get used to that environment. And you know, this is the first game, we don't exactly know, so we'll hopefully we can see that in the future though.
Yeah, hopefully we can. And we do want to remind you guys about our UCM giveaway there. We are giving away a headset that is worth about $120. And Josh, why don't you let them know how they can enter into the drawing for the headset?
Yes, of course. If you want to try and get this wonderful headset, I appreciate the hyperclouds all the time. You want to go to our Instagram, UCM Esports, and sign up. There's a couple rules. I know that you have to, you know, follow us. That's always a good one. You have to
tag a friend.
Yes, tag a friend into it.
And one of the posts there. You also have to share the post on your story, and then you must like the post, obviously, to be entered in for that headset.
But I mean, you know, 5 rolls for roughly $120 headset, I mean, does wonders. And I mean, some of the pros use them. You see a lot of streamers use them as well. It's a wonderful headset for gaming. Before we head off though, Trey, you know, we still have a player. We still have a Culver's player of the game.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's obvious to you guys, but we thought that the player of the game should be IP Slow here on the jungle. Dominic Cortez, in the second game, when he did get the Hecarim, he made some big plays. He came in from I-70, pushing players across the map there. And in the third game, he was on the, I believe, 12-2 Mundo. 12-2 Mundo there, putting in the work, tanking, doing what he could, throwing those cleavers, lifting in the gym, as you can see there. And we felt like he deserved this.
Yes, and I mean, even though the first game when he played the Kindred, obviously things didn't go too well, I got to commend him on his ultimates. I see so many Kindred players misuse their ultimates where it hinders their team a lot more, and a lot of times his ultimates saved his own team just by a hair, and that's what it's meant
like
for.
Like it was supposed to, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's very hard to do, so I gotta commend him. I think he did a wonderful job, and I think he helped bring the momentum of UCM to this victory.
He did, and with that being said, Josh, if you don't have anything else to say to the people, we will be ending the stream there. We appreciate you all being here. We hope to see you next time, and go Mules.
Go Mules.
I'm going